Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to Charlton TV ahead of today's clash between Charlton and Norwich City. And what is a glorious, glorious sunshine-baked valley. Is there anywhere better to watch a game of football than Valley in the sunshine? I'm not so sure, but you're very welcome here on Charlton TV with myself, Greg Stubley, a little bit later, Terry Smith, and just recovering and breathing heavily to my right is it's Mr. Steve Brown, and we'll give Brownie a little bit of time to set himself up. And before we bring in Brownie, we'll bring you Nathan Jones' thoughts ahead of this week's match.
Nathan, it's a beautiful sunny day here at Sparrows Lane. The group are focused, ready for another championship battle. After a busy 3-week fixture week last week, how nice has it been to spend some time on the grass with the players?
Yeah, it has, and it's been important just to, one, work a few things tactically with them, two, freshen them up a little bit as well, because we needed that. And it wasn't just 3-game week, but it was 2 away, big journeys, the Wednesday night and the Saturday kind of morning, early afternoon kickoff. Just took it out of them. So yeah, it's been important, but we've had a nice week leading into, a productive week leading into, a really tough game on the weekend.
I sense there was a little bit of disappointment with the performance at Oxford. How have you been able to digest that and balance that with the wider context of gaining 7 valuable points in a 9-point week?
Sometimes it's tough because, if someone had said to us, look, I'd offered me 7 points at the beginning of the Birmingham game, I would have taken it all day long. I mean, I'm not stupid. But after taking 6 points and 2 really productive performances, it was probably just a 20-minute period in the game where I felt we let ourselves down. First off was a kind of a jostling or jousting kind of contest. We knew what they do. They'd sit in. The pitch was very difficult. So it was difficult to gain any fluency. They, very disciplined in their shape, then countered and caused you problems, which is what they did. And we played in their hands for the first 20 minutes of the second half. We were very passive. We played short little passes, risked balls inside, and we didn't what we class as put it on a team. We did that for the last 15, and we got our rewards. And if we had done that for 90 minutes, then I felt we could have won the game, and that's my disappointment, really.
It was a big week. It was a demanding week. How's the squad looking fitness-wise?
Yeah, very, very good. We're getting a few closer as well, and then after obviously this game, it gives us a 2-week break to try and get as many as we possibly can back for the final push.
3 points separate us and Norwich in 12th in the division. It highlights again how competitive and tightly contested the division is. What kind of test are you expecting from them on Saturday?
Look, they're in a false position for the squad and the team and what they have. They're in a very false position. Obviously, they started very poorly and they're playing catch-up, but they're one of the better teams in the league. They're well coached, well organised, very fluid, got a wonderful squad, and a squad that was probably underperforming. Now they're performing to their levels. Obviously the games they've had, we had a tough game against them, albeit we were kind of depleted at the time. I've watched them in recent weeks where they've been in excellent form. Obviously picked up a defeat last night, but that was a wonderful championship game against a very, very good Southampton side. So we know it's going to be a really, really tough game, and one we're going to have to be the best versions of ourselves, and that's all we can concentrate on.
On that note then, since Philip Clement became Norwich boss, they've been one of the most formidable teams in the Championship, but we do always like to focus on ourselves. So what, in terms of our tool of weapons, do we need to make the absolute most of on Saturday?
Well, we just need to be us, and if we're us and we are aggressive and energetic and we stick to our game plan, then we can compete with anyone in the league. We've shown that. If we take it lightly and we're easy-ozy and we're passive, then these are a very good side, and they will hurt you in a number of ways. So again, it's all we say is if we're us and we're the best version of us, that's all we can control. And I'm usually a very happy man when we are the best version of us.
You recently chalked up your 100th league game in charge here at Charlton Athletic. We often talk about our team evolving, but I wanted to ask you on a personal level, how do you feel you've evolved as a manager since this chapter at Charlton?
Look, in lots of ways. I mean, I think when we came in the position we were in and from where we are now, I think we as a club have moved forward considerably on pretty much every level. You look at logistically we have. in terms of the quality of the squad and the players we have. You look at the academy and what they're producing, and in our first team, you look at the women, where they are. Community Trust continue to be doing well, and then the first team are in a totally different realm and competition than we were when we came in. So I think the club has moved forward. Now, to achieve that and to keep moving forward, look, as a manager, you get tested. We've had some tough times, and I've, one, had to show my experience, two, had to make sane decisions, and I've been able to do that with the board and the people that I have around me. I've been able to do that, and I think, look, we're in a very good position. I think we could be in better, and I think, albeit for a 6-week period around November, December, we would be, but this is our fledgling year, back in the Championship, and we want to just keep growing. And if we grow at the rate that we have in the previous 2 years, then we're going to be in a wonderful place.
In your very first interview with the football club, you spoke about the footballing challenge, but also what this club stands for on a wider scale. You might notice I have some young aspiring journalists alongside me. They're part of, yet again, another incredible community trust initiative, the Wider Schools Partnership Programme, which will see over 1,400 youngsters joining us on Saturday. For many, it might be their first ever football game. What was your first football game? Can you remember it?
Oh, that's a long time. It would have probably been a Wales game, probably would have been a national game at the Vetchfield. I remember going down to watch Neville Southall and Ian Rush and Kevin Ratcliffe play. That would have probably been my first one, then probably a Cardiff City game. It would have been one of those games, really, apart from my local team, because my local team ran on there all the time. But that would have probably been a Wales game, or a Cardiff game would have been my first game, but that was a long time ago. So I'm sure, well, I'm not sure there's many that would remember that, but if there are, then I hope I'm correct in that. But it's great, when you become manager or custodian of the club, you buy into the responsibility of knowing that the community trust, the academy are key components of this wonderful football club, and it's our duty to keep that moving forward and to keep producing and to keep supporting those facets of our club so that we can continue to develop. Mine
was a similarly long time ago, so although the memory's slightly foggy, I think what we all remember is the way football can make us feel, and we're set for our biggest attendance for a league game in 2026. If the sun is out as well, we know the magic of the Valley, and it's an opportunity again to cast that net further and wider for this football club.
Absolutely, and we the young. I always like working with young players, with young people, because they're pretty much blank canvases. So it's what they learn in a younger age that sort of sets them up and shapes their thinking or their habits later on. So if we can get them into a good habit of coming down at the Valley and wanting to come back, then that's a job well done.
Thank you, Nathan.
Well, welcome back to Charlton TV. Those were the thoughts of Nathan Jones ahead of this week's match. And before we quickly play you a Miles Lieburn interview, I'll bring in, just for a very quick introduction, the man to my right who's no longer panting, who's fresh and got lamb shank in his belly, Mr. Steve Brown.
In my teeth, yeah. Yeah, all good. Thanks, Greg. How are you?
I'm very well, my friend.
Good.
We had a nice little drink on Thursday night. It's always a pleasure.
We did.
And just before we go into the Miles Lieburn interview, I want to use this opportunity to say, may I remind everyone what you said to me back in December about Norwich City?
Yeah, they were in a false position, Greg. Yeah, and they were always going to climb the league, and now they are like one of the most informed teams. I think what have they over the last 10 games they'll be positioned third, 21 points. So won 7, lost 3. Don't draw many games, but yeah, they've turned their season right around, and yeah, better be kicking themselves and have a better start.
Yeah, and if only everyone could have your wisdom.
I know, Greg. I mean. Was a little bit aided, that comment, by yourself. I don't mind telling everyone.
No,
that,
it's fine. It's fine. No, it's been a bit of a laugh between Brownie and I. It's Norwich v Southampton, I think, on TV, and Norwich just conceded, and you said, I think they were a bit in trouble. You weren't suggesting that they were going to get relegated. You said a bit of trouble.
I remember it very well, and I said they'll lose now.
Yes, that was it. Yeah,
and they
won 2-1. Honestly, people listening, they always say never work with children or pets. I may add Steve Brown alongside that as well. No, but it was a good night Thursday, and yeah, we'll get proper thoughts ahead of today's game in a second. But before we do, of course, today is Academy Day here at the Valley, and one of our own prospects, Miles Lieburn, spoke to Charlton TV during the week.
Miles, last week was a really busy week, but a productive one. 7 points from a possible 9. You and the boys must be really pleased with that points tally haul.
Yeah, massive to get 7 points from those games as well. And the different types of game, though, obviously Middlesbrough and Oxford, two very different teams, and to get 7 points from the 3 games is good, yeah.
You won 19 duels against Oxford, the most of any player on the pitch that afternoon. 12 of them were aerial. Your overall stats are ranking really high in the division as well. I just wanted to ask you how you feel that you've been utilising your personal strengths each week against some really tough Championship defences.
Yeah, it's been a tough season and just different type of, yeah. It's been tough with all the aerial duels and ground duels. It's a lot more physical. But yeah, I just want to try and utilise them a bit more to score some goals, personally, yeah.
What would you say has been the biggest challenge or difference from League One to Championship?
Probably it feels a lot more intense, and the ball's on the ground a lot more. Yeah. And the physicality it just feels a lot more. And defenders as well, for me, feel a lot smarter in their what they do off the ball when people aren't looking. Yeah.
Being a Championship forward, of course, you want to be scoring goals, but I think what we're seeing is it demands so much more than that. Can you give us a bit of an insight into the work that goes on in the training ground around patterns of play, but also the partnerships you have around those that are also contributing towards our attacks?
Yeah, first of all, to be fair, it's always about the team and just making sure that we get in the wins. But yeah, we go through all that stuff in the week with patterns of play, and we work with different partnerships in training each week to just get that, trying to get that like sort of gel between each other. Yeah.
And you've got a player like Lyndon Dykes coming in with lots of Championship experience and pedigree. Have you learned anything from the way he goes about his business during the week, but also on match days at all?
Yeah, I'd say more just like holding up the ball, trying to chest it down in different ways, because obviously sometimes it can bounce off, especially when it's fired in properly. Just like trying to get that right body shape to get it down.
Our points last week mean that we're not too far away from that all-important 50-point marker. How much are you and the boys really focused on trying to reach that target before the international break? Because that feels like it would be a real accomplishment in our maiden season back at Championship level. Yeah,
massively. And I just think we're just trying to win as many games as possible towards this end of the season. I think we've got like 8 games left. I think 5 of them are at home, so we just want to make sure we get as many points, like smash that 50-point mark, yeah.
You started in the game against Norwich on Boxing Day. That was a close battle. Are you anticipating a similarly close affair on Saturday?
Yeah, Norwich, they're a good team, so it'll be a good game.
You've come with me to many of our school's partnership visits. You might notice I have some younger prospective journalists in the making. You know this football club even better than most. How about that side of what it is like to be a footballer when we do go out and you hear the chants of Liebe and in assemblies and stuff? How proud does it make you, and that responsibility to give back to the local community? Yeah, no, it's always nice, and especially with this club, we're very good with the community, especially with the community trust and all the work that they do and all the visits we do, and it's nice, especially when you have like kids yelling your name. Well, it's special because when you go into their school, it gives them even more incentive to want to come to a match day, and this Saturday, we've sold over 1,400 tickets to school children. If the weather stays like this, we know the Valley is a wonderful place to experience football. But importantly for you and the boys on the pitch, when it's loud, when it's ferocious, it can help us get 3 valuable points, can't it? Yeah, massively. I said this like all throughout my professional career so far. Like when the fans are with us, it's like a 12th man on the pitch, and it's just a massive confidence boost. Well, good luck for Saturday and go well. Thank you.
Well, there are the words of Miles Lieburn during the week. Of course, one of our current academy graduates were involved in the first team squad. Tyrese Campbell, obviously another one. Ibby Fuller, Keenan Goff. Despite being in the Championship, we're still able to bring these players through, and many of them have stepped up to the mark, that's for sure. And someone I'm just speaking to just now is actually part of our academy way back when Valley Gold started, when you were along, Brownie.
It started in 88, didn't it?
Yeah, okay, so...
Yeah. And I came in 88 as an apprentice, 90 as a pro. So, yeah. You could say Valley Gold was, yeah.
You were the reason for Valley Gold?
No, it certainly wasn't the reason.
They're like,
it might have been 87, you know. Yeah. No, look, there was funding issues, wasn't there, back in the day, and I remember being part of a youth team. We had one goalkeeper and he got injured on a Friday, which is how it led to me going in goal. That's how tight things were. One keeper in your academy squad, and we needed support at that time as a football club, and Valley Gold was started up, and it was a godsend at that time. I think it's fair to say things have moved on, but that funding still gets used in the academy now. And it's whatever the amount is, 50, 60, 100 grand, whatever it is, it's incredibly useful for the academy, and it gets used in the right way and in the right manner.
Yeah, and as someone who's been amongst the Charlton, let's say, background a little bit more over the last couple of years, you'd have seen a lot of the kind of work that goes into, well, you would have seen it, to be fair, before you started getting involved with the club again, with your days back at Brighton doing the academy there. You've been involved in youth football, shall we say, for a long time. What do you think it takes to get to a player to play in first team? Is there a real key ingredient that can get someone there, not just talent? Is there something that young players really need to work on that can get them there?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a combination of things, but talent alone won't get you there. There are more talented players than me, even in my 2 years as an apprentice, that should have got further than me and didn't, because all the ingredients weren't there. I think if I was to pass on one thing, and I think it's more prevalent now than ever, is don't rely on your coach. Don't rely on him to be your be-all and end-all. The first thing you should do is can I do more? Can I improve myself more? Have I worked hard enough today? Have I worked hard enough at my weaknesses today? And every time a mistake is an opportunity to learn, Greg, whereas some people take mistakes as a crestfallen. No, right, I've made a mistake. How do I learn? It's a crime if you don't learn from it. But you've got to absolutely love the game. You've got to commit everything to it, particularly in those early years. Those first 3 or 4 years, you have got to commit everything. And then once you break into a first team, you really have got to work even harder to maintain. But yeah, the heart and desire has to be there, but always look in the mirror first. That was my one thing. So my dad said to me when I started my career, you'll only get out of life what you're willing to put in it, and that's more evident when you're trying to make it in sport. Nothing lands in your lap, Greg. Absolutely nothing. You have to fight and graft for everything you achieve. Well, certainly I did, and that starts on the training pitch and every day when you go home. Have I done enough? Ask yourself that, and then if you've done enough, have I done enough to work on the weaknesses that I have, and have I worked on the mistakes I've made? And the biggest thing for me is football intelligence. You've got to work it out for yourself. Not a coach and a manager can't tell you everything. They just can't. They've got too many things to work on, too many people to cover, and you have to take a vast amount of responsibility for your own career. You can't wake up every day expecting a coach to do everything for you, a manager to know every answer, because they've got tactics, they've got recruitment, they've got so much they've got to do that you have to grasp it yourself and make sure that you're in control of your own destiny to a degree.
Well, and 2 players I mentioned that have been largely part of our first team squad this year. Obviously, I mentioned Ibi Full and Keenan Goff have been a bit more sporadic, but Tyrese Campbell, who starts again today, that's the kind of big headline of today, that Tyrese Campbell keeps his spot, Charlie Kelman on the bench. Lyndon Dykes is back fit to play alongside him. But just on Tyrese, I'd like to have a conversation with you on him, because we've seen some very good things from Tyrese Campbell. We know ability is there. Games against Oxford where things aren't quite going his way, and Nathan got asked about it during the week. How can Charlton get the best out of Tyrese Campbell? Is there something you've seen in his game where you think, actually, this is what we can work with him for next season to get him to this level that we know he can reach?
Well, see, to answer that, I'm going to have to be critical, and try not to be too critical these days for obvious reasons. But I always start with, and I remember having a conversation when George Dobson joined the football club, and I was on a golf day, and he was there as a player, and he was in my team, and I said, look, they'll forgive many things, the Charlton fan group, but they won't forgive not looking like or not even looking like, not working as hard as you possibly can. And there's sometimes I look at Tyrese and I think you've got to have more in the locker physically than that. Right now, there are reasons at times whilst he might not recognise it. He might not understand that actually from up here in the crowd, that doesn't look like you're working hard enough. Doesn't mean he isn't, but someone on the sideline could just go, right, I need you to work back there. You have to work back there, all right? We know he has the ability 1v1 going forward to unlock a defender, and when he fancies it, and he's in you know, he's had a good start to a game, he can tear people apart, and he has that very rare ability to beat somebody from a standstill start 1v1, which is not easy to do. But I think sometimes, like, the game's moved on an awful lot. You know, I speak to people within the games and they say, you know, you have to cover a certain amount of kilometres now for training. And when they tell me the amount, I go, they must be able to do more than that. But it's all governed by data and sports science. And I'm not sure how much they're pushing through the barriers physically these days. And they'll say it's to protect injuries. Has injuries tidied up because of sports science? Do we have less injuries now because of sports science than we used to? I'm going to argue we don't, right? But I don't know the data. But what I can tell you is when we were coming through, we got pushed physically. And we were able to go a little bit beyond what you see. So we had, I think we had a group of players that were 90 minutes stamina fit. Your Robinsons, your Joneses, Kinsellas, Rufus, the list goes on, and that's just off the top of my head. They never stop running for 90 minutes. Today's a different game. When you only have to do a certain amount of kilometres for training, and then when you say, can I go out and do a bit more, you get told no, you've covered your 3 kilometres today, or your 5 or your 8 or whatever they required. I think that's a little bit of an issue, particularly with players that you need to do a little bit more. But I don't understand all the data, Greg. I don't, again, it goes back to what I just said to you earlier. If I feel like I'm not doing enough in 90 minutes, I'm looking at myself. I've got to push myself on. So sometimes I think you've got to push through what people are telling you, or you know, it's your career at the end of the day. And if you feel like the guidance isn't quite right, I think you can ask for permission to do a little bit more. Grab a bag of balls and go and work on your crossing. Go and, do a few extra, runs during the summer or whatever it may be. But that's what I mean about you control your own destiny to a degree. You can do more. Just because someone says you've done your 3K and you go. Like if injuries were far superior now than they were 20 years ago, I'd go, yeah, they've cracked it, the sports science. They've cracked it, they've got it, no one's injured, no one suffers anymore. That's not the case. It's not the case at all. So people have to just look after their careers and remind themselves at times that it is on you. The other stuff's guidance. It's all guidance, but it is on you.
No, certainly some really interesting kind of insight there from Brownie about kind of inner workings of modern day football compared to when you played as well, and especially it's a topic we can go on for hours, but we probably should move on to today's game. And first of all, before we do, a certain Charlton legend is being introduced pitchside by Dave Lockwood, a former teammate of yours and someone who gave us one of the best, or helped give us, there was many people on that day, but Sasha Ilic helped us, of course, get promoted to the Premier League. A famous day at Wembley where Sir Mr. Brown scored his penalty. And it's always a pleasure to see Sasha back here. And Dave introduced him onto the pitch, and we'll bring in Terry Smith shortly, who interviewed him pre-match in the hospitality lounges, but always a pleasure to see this man back here.
Yeah, and he's good value, right? Whatever you may think, right? He's good for a story, Sasha. And it is a hell of a story in itself. Stamco was a team I think he was playing at, which was used to be a team down in Eastbourne. I don't know what level it was playing at the time, and he just walked into the training field one day, walked down Sparrows Lane, walked in and asked for a trial, and we stuck him in goal in the reserve training, and that was that. He got a contract, and the rest is history, and he played at that Wembley game and saved that penalty and had a wonderful time within his professional career. So he's like I said, he's a character. Lives in Montenegro now. Got a lovely little place there that he's designed, a health and well-being spa. It certainly was. I think his rumours was he was turned it into a villa, but yeah, he's going through that process now on the pitch with Dave, and he's larger than life, is Sash.
Yeah, and as I say, I think one of my favourite things about that day at Wembley is that obviously I was too young to be there, but the photos afterwards, and is that iconic one where he's got the ball in his arms and he's screaming. And he's probably just screaming at the fact you were running on to bundle him over. And
I was next on. No, I was on top of the pile. He didn't.
Everyone's screaming in pain.
Last on the pile. Oh no. Need him on the bottom.
Oh dear me, but special. He's always got a place in Charlton history, he has. Sasha Ilic. But yeah, we're not too far away from kick-off here at the Valley. Terry Smith will take over in due course. But before he does, Brownie, one final question about ahead of today from me. You mentioned Norwich earlier about their form. They've got a lot of injuries coming into today. We've heard that recently. We heard that with Stoke, and when we beat Stoke, they had a lot of injuries. We heard it with Portsmouth. Went the other way. Portsmouth beat us here.
Ties in what we said about injuries, though.
Well, it does.
Every team comes here,
relevant,
7, 8, 9 injured. You know, we're supposed to have the best sports science, best pitches now, best conditioning, and yet we roll out injury after injury. You know, it is quite scary, but it is what it is.
Well, even Charlton ourselves, we're missing a few key players, as we know. We've missed Josh Edwards for the large part of this season. Luke Berry's now joined that kind of injury list. He's not involved in the squad again today. But there's one or two others, Matty Godden, and we could go on about injuries we've got as well. But it's an opportunity for Charlton today. I would have said a few weeks ago that this Norwich side, the most informed they've been in the Championship since, I think, December time, since we played them, in fact. But headed into today, it's actually looking like it's an opportunity for Charlton to get to that 50-point mark, which seems to be a bit of the target at the moment, judging by what Nathan Jones has been saying.
Yeah, I think when we're here, we're always capable of pulling off a result, and today's no different. I mean, Norwich, they lost to Southampton last time out. They'd won 4 straight before that. And if I'm honest with you, I didn't see the game, but if you look at it statistically, it looks like Norwich were the better team, had more opportunities, had more possession, had more corners, more shots on target. So they should have potentially got something from that game as well. So they're a team in high spirits, confident, and will believe in what they're doing. The manager change was crucial for them, and it's borne a change of fortune on the pitch as well. And this is a tough game for Charlton to go on and get a result from, but when we're here at the Valley, I do fancy us, you know, to pull off results that we shouldn't get. We've just come off the back of a very, very good week. 2 wins and a draw in a week where we were hoping to get maybe 3 or 4 points. We ended up with 7. But today's an opportunity to really put it to bed in terms of you get your win, you're at 50. I think we're okay anyway. I've been saying that for weeks and weeks and weeks. But it would be nice to now finish really strong and push yourself up. Why don't you set 60 points now? If you're Nathan Jones, have the team in, I want to get to 60. This is what we're going to require to get to 60 points. These are the games I think we should win. You know, and I think today's an opportunity to put 3 more points on the board, albeit it's a very tough fixture.
Well, thank you. Voice of Steve Brown alongside me now, and my thanks, of course, to Greg Stubley for the opening half-hour-ish of this fixture against Norwich City. And as the two sides line up across the halfway line, I'll read you out the sides, starting with our visitors. Norwich City in goal for them. Number 1, Vladan Kovacevic. 7, Pel Matson. 8, Liam Gibbs. 15, Rory McConville. 20, Anis Slimani. 21, Ali Ahmed. 23, and captain Kenny McLean. 25, Paris McHomer. 30, Matthias Kvistgarden. 33, Jose Cordoba, and 35, Kellen Fisher. Your subs for Norwich: Daniel Grimshaw, Jakov Medic, Harry Darling, Emiliano Marcondes, Jacob Bright, Forson Amankwa, Sam Field, Tony Springett, and Errol Mundell-Smith. Your Charlton side were lined up with in goal number 25, Will Mannion, 2, Kane Ramsey, 5, Lloyd Jones, 6, Connor Coventry, 7, Therese Campbell, 10, and captain Greg Doherty, 14, Sonny Carey, 17, Amari Bell, 19, Luke Chambers, 44, Harry Clark, and 99, Lyndon Dykes. Your subs for Charlton: Thomas Kaminski, Macaulay Gillespie, Miles Leeburn, Connor Cody, Charlie Kelman, Joe Rankin Costello, Keenan Goff, Ibrahim Fuller, and Jaden Fevrier. Your referee for this afternoon is Will Finney, and he's going to be assisted by Andrew Dallinson and Paul Hodgkinson. And the 4th official is Isaac Sell. And 2 sides go to each end, and Greg just announced that Sasha Illich coming out on the pitch, and well, what a guest. I just had the pleasure, and thank you, Brownie, for allowing me to do that. Just had the pleasure of talking to Sasha Illich, and I think I've just come across somebody who talks more than you do, Brownie.
He's got the first one in, Greg. That set me off.
He can tell a story.
He set me off, he has. Yeah, no, he can tell a story. Did he tell a 2p story?
No, I kept it. I steered him clear of that.
Okay.
And the reason I did is because the last time he told it, it turned into a 10p piece, not a 2p piece.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And I flicked it, and it can heads I go left, tails I go right. That's not true, Sash, is it?
What I want to do is, you know, we do the crossbar challenge.
Yeah.
I think at half time, if we do the 2p toss with a pair of goalkeeper's gloves on and see how many can do it.
Told you it was good for a story, didn't I?
No, honestly, it was superb, absolutely superb, and in the pack lounge as well. It was he got a justifiable welcome and reception when he finished. It was superb, absolutely superb.
Listen, the story itself, of how he came to play for us and got to the best playoff final in history is quite astonishing. But
I said to him,
good luck to him.
I said to him in closing, basically, if you'd have told his story over spanning a 10-year period, it would be incredible enough.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's over a 2 to 3 year period is absolutely remarkable.
Absolutely.
So anyway, that was the legend that is Sasha Ilic. I mean, being a legend after only 59 games tells a story in itself.
Yeah.
Just the impact that gentleman had on this football club. But we're ready now to get underway here at the Valley, and it's quite a full Valley as well. I know it's Kids for a Quid Day, and we've plenty of initiatives flying around to get children into the stadium, and it's worked wonders, and the Valley is looking superb in the sunshine, and with almost every stand full to the rafters. It's not quite the capacity, of course, but it's as close as it's been for a while, I suspect, as Norwich City get us underway, attacking the covered end in the first half. Of course, both teams in their traditional kits, as Jones makes the first header forward, tidied up at the back, and it's Fisher under pressure from Dykes, who's then just followed in a little bit late in his eagerness to get the ball on Cordoba. He's going to be in high spirits, is Lyndon Dykes, because obviously plan 1 achieved. He wanted to make sure he was in the Scotland squad for this international period, and he is. And of course, next step is to make sure he's in the Scotland squad for the World Cup.
Yeah. Well, I was a little bit late, that.
Oh, you did a little nudge.
Now, just in the replay, and I'm surprised. I mean,
too early for a yellow card, I think they call it.
And do you know what? I quite like that side of it. You used to be able to give a dig, receive a dig, and get on with it. But it was a fraction late on that challenge. Cordoba just give him a little waggle of the finger. They're still at it. Yeah, they're having a good old chat down there, the pair of them.
This could get spicy a bit later on as the free kick's taken. Again, Jones the first to get there, head on a little bit skyward. And it's deflected back to Norwich. Visgarden going on a run, but he's up against 3 Charlton players, and the third one of those, Ramsey, takes the ball off him and sends it forward up towards Dykes. Cordoba's just given him a huge nudge in the back, but the ball runs through to Campbell. Tries to hold the ball up, but 3 players around him, and Dykes back in on the challenge. But I think the referee's indicating that he played on because the ball was running through to Campbell. I'm not sure there was much of an advantage, because Campbell was being crowded out. But Norwich have a throw on this left-hand side. Back to Fisher, sends it forward. Jones with the header away. Norwich get to the ball first, and then going down too easily was Slimani, according to the referee. I actually thought that was a foul, but Charlton have the ball with Amari Bell, and it's on the left-hand side. Campbell ahead of him. Campbell trying to turn his man, but McConville read it, managed to step in and retrieve possession back for Norwich. Ball out here to the left of centre, and Ahmed up against Clark, and there's an overlap here from Fisher on the left-hand side, trying to go infield. Carey with the block, and he tries to come away with the ball, Carey, but just crowded out before he could pursue it. Tidied up by Matson. Back to Cordoba. Ball forward for Visgarden. Trying to go out to Ahmed and put too much on it. There'll be a Charlton throw on the right-hand side.
Yep. Lively start, actually. Tempo's high. Certainly not a slow one. It's not a passive game. Started off quite lively, and because it started off quite lively, you're seeing a little breakdown in technical abilities. Passes turning over that shouldn't, but it's a bright, lively start from both sides.
Throw-ins defended away. Ahmed back to Cordoba, who sends it forward. And, Mannion should come out of his 6-yard box to claim it, and does. In the sunshine. Rolls it out to Bell. Into the feet of Doherty. Goes back to Coventry, who's a little bit crowded out, so forced back to Mannion, and Bell again on the left. Cuts inside. Now feeds it left to Chambers, who has to go back to Bell. And across now to Jones. Still Charlton on the edge of the penalty area. Now out to Ramsey as Norwich try to press. Ball drilled forward, collected well by Dykes. Try to feed Carey on the right-hand side, put too much on it. Be tidied up by Maatsen. Now Cordoba, back to his keeper, Kovacevic. Now on the right-hand side, McConville. Ball forward up to Makoma, forced deep by Bell. Makoma comes across the pitch to find Fisher in space on the left. Carey trying to catch up with him, but Fisher on his toes. Still got a player on the left, Ahmed. Cuts inside. McConville stayed on this left-hand side. Now sends it across to the right. It's with McLean. Held up, forced backwards and across to Maatsen. Maatsen with Fisher to his left. Still available on the right is Ahmed. Ahmed taking on Clark. Into the penalty area. Ball back to Maatsen. He's taken a touch, gets the shot away and it scores. Drills it beyond Mannion and into the left-hand corner. And Norwich City have the lead.
They certainly do. And it was a very good spell of possession. That's got to be 15 passes or so. And we were in a very good defensive shape, but a tad passive in terms of applying pressure. You can get tight to somebody, but if you don't apply pressure, you might as well be 10 yards off. We've had two players go out to that ball to make a block, and somehow it sneaked through both and past Mannion into the back of the net. It's a wonderful strike and it's a powerful strike. But again, I always say this when I see two players go, you've got to have the bravery on top of the attempt to go make the block, and I think we could have maybe stopped that one from fizzing past Mannion with a little bit more bravery on the block. Throwing yourself into it, going to ground, getting a bit closer. I don't think we've committed enough into that block to stop it.
There were two players converging on the ball. And the shot went straight through the middle of the pair of them. And whether that unsighted Mannion a little bit because it went beyond his left hand, he couldn't keep it out. Norwich City have an early breakthrough here at the Valley. Charlton will look to try and get back in as quickly as possible. Coventry with a header forward, but can't find Doherty with it. Picked up by McLean. Out to the right-hand side is Gibbs. Sends it forward. Jones with the header away. Cordoba goes for it. Dykes with a good header. Can't find Campbell with it. Just bounced beyond him, and it allowed McConville just to head it back to his keeper. It's a good win from Dykes on the aerial challenge over Cordoba. Campbell just couldn't get on the end of it. It's Cordoba again now for Norwich City. Ball forward up towards Slimane. Back to Fisher. Now Cordoba again, pressed by Dykes. Right into the Norwich left-hand corner. Can't get the ball away as Dykes blocks it. Throw into Norwich City by the left-hand corner flag. Fisher with it. Taking an age to send this away. It now does. Gets it back, Fisher. And launches it back into the penalty area. It's kind of skied off his right boot. Norwich do manage to get it clear up to Ahmed, but that's a good foot in from Carey. And now Clark, Carey with the challenge. Ball out to Clark, who got that foot in rather than Carey. I apologise. Norwich City have to defend it away for a throw into Charlton.
Yeah, I think that's an area where they've got their issues, Norwich. You've got a right footer playing left back and a central midfielder playing right back. Certainly an area that you'd expect us to have a little bit of joy in.
Well, throw-in's going to come in from this right-hand side. It's Clark with it. Fizzed in. It's flicked backwards. It's going to drop to Coventry. Can't control it. Campbell will retrieve it for Charlton. He tried to find Clark with it, but left it short, and it allowed Gibbs to step in. Be another throw into Charlton. This could be another throw fizzed in that caused Norwich some severe problems. I think it's Fisher who headed it backwards the first time.
Yeah, I think Chambers can get, if that's on his left foot, he strikes it because it's bounced out on his right. He's turned away from it.
Throwing comes in again. This time Fisher does get it away. But Doherty out to Clark, trying to go back to Doherty, but the ball's blocked. And Norwich City have possession back, and Slimane is in the midfield with space. This ball out to Gibbs on the right. Back inside to Maatsen. Across here to Fisher. On a run. Cuts back inside and across to the right-hand side. And McLean. Nobody closing him down. That's a good challenge from Chambers to win it back for Charlton. Finds Campbell. Runs past one. Gives it out to Doherty. A little cul-de-sac there, Doherty, so he had to go backwards to Jones. Now Bell on the left. Out to Chambers. Back with Amari Bell. Looking for options. Across to his right is Jones. Clark hugging the touchline this right-hand side, but Ramsey first port of call with the ball inside to Coventry. Sends Dykes down the left-hand side. Good control. Dykes cuts inside, beats 2 Norwich players and then finds Clark down the line. Ball cut out before he can find Doherty. Norwich City have it back. Cordoba being pressed by Dykes. Has to go back to his keeper. And with 9 minutes gone, Norwich City still have that goal lead here.
And we should have got him behind their defence there. Doherty's made a great run from midfield, beyond their back line in Akers' face. And we tried to be a bit too precise again, a bit too clever. Just put it into the space, let him get him behind.
Jones a bit late on the challenge. Ball was drilled out of the penalty area by Kovacevic. Jones tried to get there first, but he went through Kvistgarden. Neither of them got any meaningful contact on the ball. So free kick to Norwich, just inside their own half. Stroke left to Fisher.
Yeah, we've got to work harder on Fisher from inside to out. We've got to push him out onto his left foot. He wants to cut back in and play, and if he cuts back inside onto that right, it opens up a big diagonal and a crossfield ball. He's already played 2 into the centre of the pitch comfortably. I think Carey could be the one maybe that works from inside, pushing him onto his left foot where he'd be less comfortable.
Which did exactly that. Charlton cut it out. Ball though back now with Mannion. Sending everybody away. Launches it forward. Dykes the target. Can't quite get there, and McConville with the header, but it goes left to Chambers. Chambers with Campbell further left. Works it inside. It's good footwork from Chambers and finds Doherty. Doherty trying to find space. Trying to get a pass away to Dykes. Put too much on it. Runs through to Kovacevic.
Yeah. Unlucky. Really good stuff from Chambers. Lovely quick feet to wriggle past 2 players. And again, you know, it's the right thing from Doherty. Dykes at the edge of the box is the right ball, but you're a couple of yards out. There's nothing anyone can do about that. It's a technical breakdown, but the move itself was good.
Cordoba for Norwich drills it forward, looking for Kvistgarden. Jones got a foot in, but it comes back to Ahmed. Ahmed, Fisher inside, cuts back across on his right foot. The ball out to the right of Gibbs. Ball forward though, cut out by Amari Bell. Doherty in on the challenge to give it back to Bell. Now Coventry, he's got Clark available on this right-hand side. Back to Ramsey. It'll be closed down, Ramsey, so has to find a Charlton player with the ball forward. Dykes got something on it, and then Doherty gets there before Gibbs and finds Chambers. Inside to Campbell. Campbell goes back out on the left. Chambers still out there. Touch back to Bell on halfway. Coventry takes over. Going to go back out to Bell. Look for the big switch. Wasn't on, so Amari Bell will bring it forward. Ball up to Doherty. Oh, he tried to find Campbell, but didn't put enough on it. Norwich City clear, but sort of swiped clearance that didn't have any real direction to it. It's going to be picked up by Mannion. Gives it to Jones. He's going to get it back, Mannion, as Norwich look to press. Just chips it forward, looking for Carey, trying to get something on it, but Dykes retrieves it for Charlton. Good work from the Charlton striker. And then Dykes bringing it forward now, moves out to the left, sets up Chambers on the left-hand side, ball into the box. Carey trying to get there. Cordoba with the important interception, clears it away. Bell with the header. Doherty can't get there. It was too high for him. Charlton still get possession with Carey, but had to try and deal with a bouncing ball that eventually got the better of him, and Norwich clear. And it's up to Kvistgarden. Kvistgarden just holds the ball up. We'll find Ahmed on the left-hand side. Ahmed back inside to McComa. In the centre is McLean. Fisher out to his left. Has to go back to McLean. Ball to the centre of McComa's in a little bit of space to turn, gets it on his right foot, gets a shot away. Mannion has to dive down to his left and turn it round for a corner.
Yeah, let me tell you, that's a magnificent save. This time he's not beaten low to his left. This shot didn't have as much power as Matsson's, but again, we've got so many players behind the ball. you know, we shouldn't be allowing Norwich balls into feet around the edge of our box. We're a little bit too passive on how close we're getting to pressurise. So like I said, if you're gonna be 3 yards off, you might as well be 10 yards off. They can do exactly what they want. We've got to have a little bit more bravery, a little bit more communication, and we've got to get tighter to players when they're in little dangerous pockets.
Corner to Norwich City on their right-hand side. Front of the covered end. Sent low. Clark gets to it, but has to concede another corner. I was expecting it perhaps to come a little bit more out, and went with his right foot. The only place that was going was back out and into the covered end. Another corner. Still waiting for this to be taken, and now it's swung in. This one's a lot higher across the 6-yard box, and Cordoba's there. Couldn't get it under control. Goes backwards to Ahmed. Gets the ball into the box. Drops kindly on the edge for McLean. Doesn't get a shot away. Now it's Slimani, but it's well won by Doherty. Did superbly well to wrestle possession back and clear it away, but only as far as Fisher. On halfway, Fisher on the right-hand side. Cuts back across. We'll find Ahmed on this left. Back and inside to Cordoba. Quarter of an hour gone here at the Valley. Still 1-0 to the visitors. Across to McConville. McConville pressed by Doherty, forcing him backwards. He has to go all the way back to Kovacevic. To McLean, across to Cordoba on the edge of his penalty area. Kovacevic again. Stopping Norwich coming out as McConville has to go back to his keeper once more. This time goes long, up towards Slimani, who controls it. Carey can't get there. Does know at the second attempt. Well on by Coventry. Now Bell out to Chambers. Can carry the ball a little bit if he wants to. Chambers looking for options. Outside of him is Carey. Coventry back inside, as is Bell. Bell, ball forward to Chambers. Back inside to Carey. Norwich with everybody behind the ball. Now Jones bringing it forward. Back out to Bell once more. Looking to send Campbell on his way on the left-hand side. 2 players for company, Therese Campbell. One of them is Gibbs, and he gets his clearance off of Campbell and away for a Norwich City throw.
Yep, got us covered off at the moment, haven't they, Norwich? At a better side, could be 2 up, and it's just a case at this moment in time we're not really building up play well enough in the final third. We're okay up to a point, but then beyond that, no shots on target or off at the moment. And Norwich look dangerous when they get in the final third. So they seem to have us covered off. We've got to find a better way to keep possession in that final third.
Well, Ramsey's done well to win possession back for Charlton. Intercepted an attempted ball through. Now Mannion sends it forward. Conville with a header. Doherty with the next touch, but there's an offside flag gone up there. I think it must have been against Campbell.
Yeah.
As McConville got to it, but gave it straight to Doherty, and the referee has blown the whistle for offside. 10 yards inside the Norwich City half. Ball forward up to Fiskgarden. Heavy touch. It's rescued by Ahmed. Back to Fisher. Brings it across the pitch. Find McHomer. Behind him is McConville. Now inside of him. McLean across to Fisher again. That's a great challenge from Clark. Oh, no, it's not. Thought he got there first. Referee thought otherwise. Free kick to Norwich.
Yeah, I just think Fisher had enough of that ball protected by his body. So the first contact was on his body, not the ball, unfortunately, from Clark. But I like the fact he's gone in tight and been aggressive. There's not enough of that going on at the moment. So there's a little confusion, I think. There's 1 or 2 players with their arms out to their sides, particularly Dykes. When he goes into pressurise, he knows it's kind of you know, in terms of the backup behind him, that the pressure isn't quite good enough from players behind him, and he's going in, and they're playing around him quite comfortably, and I think he's getting a little fed up with it.
Well, Charlton players and fans were convinced that ball was out in front of the Kirbysley stand after McConville's hasty ball out, but the linesman thought otherwise. But Doherty steps in and wins it back for Charlton. Out to Therese Campbell on the left-hand side, gets his cross in, and Kovacevic just gets there before Lyndon Dykes can power it towards goal.
Both times in this first half where we've got in wide areas, we've only had one striker in the box. Dykes was involved in build-up play earlier. He wasn't in the box for the cross that came in. This time Campbell's out wide delivering, and there's Dykes at the front post, and the only person getting close to the box is Clark from right wing back on the far side. We've got to find a way to get more players into the penalty area when we're developing the final third.
Ramsey bringing this ball forward, trying to send Campbell through the middle. McConville just got there first, read it well, and back to the keeper. And now Fisher on his left. Up towards Slimani, the ball won by Coventry, and if only Campbell had stayed where he was and not drifted across to the left, he'd have received that straight to his feet. As it was, Norwich City had possession. And it's with Fisher. Out to Ahmed, and pushed by Ramsey all the way back. And they try to turn one way then the other, but Ramsey's still there. It's back to Cordoba. He's going to have to hit this long under pressure, and does. And there's a challenge between Quistgarden and Jones, and Quistgarden goes to ground. And he's doing a lot of pointing.
He's asking the fourth official to get. He can't give anything.
Well, they do occasionally. That's probably why he's saying.
I didn't think they were allowed.
Well, I'm not sure that stops him personally. Ball out. Clark tries to hit it infield towards Carey. Goes straight to Cordoba though. And with Fisher, he's going to use Cordoba again behind him on the Norwich left-hand side. They combine once more and work it away between Clark and Carey, and it's Matson coming forward, finds Fisher, puts a heavy touch on that and allows Coventry to intercept. Ball out of play for a Norwich throw.
Yeah, the away side are on top. They're a little bit slicker in possession, and we have our moments, but we get to a point where we just don't look as slick. When they get it together, Norwich, it's quick, it's slick, they get through us. And they've had the two best chances of the game, one leading to the goal. You can see why they are the team in form.
Throwing goes down the line. Slimani just gets ahead of Coventry. Coventry back at him. Slimani's still in possession. Goes towards the touchline. Does get the cross in and needs Mannion's full stretch to grab it. As Quistgarden was waiting for it.
Yeah, completely unmarked as well, which is a little concerning.
Dykes can't get there. McConville does. Bringing it forward, McConville. Across to Ahmed. Ahmed with Slimani wanting it outside. Inside is McComa. Ahmed takes over again. And to his right is Gibbs. Back inside to Matson. McComa stayed on the left momentarily. Now Slimani, back to Matson. Charlton managing to force Norwich back into their own half. But they're still in possession. Cordoba bringing it forward. Still Cordoba. Ball out to Quistgarden, but his ball back inside, goes straight to Ramsey. And Charlton have possession back. Carey takes over, out to Chambers. Looks forward to Campbell, can turn Campbell. Like he might have been fouled there, and yes he was. Matson with a late foot in. Charlton take the free kick quickly, out to Chambers. Chambers looks to launch the ball into the box. Dykes waiting for it. They'll go across there into the penalty area, across the penalty area, now to Clark. Ball knocked back in, but comfortable for Kovacevic. He grabs it without any real problems. 22.5 minutes gone, and with that, a word from Steve Brown. I'll hand you over to Greg Stubley to commentate with the rest of this first half.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of our threats, it's crosses into the box with just Dykes really pressurising. We've had a couple of goes there. One got deflected out to the far side of the box. The next one was a clean take.
Thank you, Tel. After 20, just coming up to 23 minutes gone, Charlton 0, Norwich 1. It's been a very good display from the visitors so far. And if it wasn't for the left arm of Will Mannion, they would have been 2-0 up. It was a goal after 4.5 minutes from Pelle Matson. The difference between the two sides from a scoreline point of view. But Charlton have been a bit passive defensively, have not committed too many clean challenges. Norwich have been fluid in their attack, and Charlton have struggled to cope so far, but it's still 1-0, and Charlton need to go along with the throw. And if it's given a free kick, has spotted an infringement by someone, might have been Dykes with Cordoba. It's a Norwich City free kick nonetheless, as we've played 23.5 minutes here at the Valley, and quickly taken. Gibbs playing right back today for Norwich, naturally a central midfielder. The natural right back for Norwich, coincidentally, is that left back this afternoon in Fisher. As Cordoba brings the ball forward under pressure from Dykes, who comes back and makes the challenge. Carey with a flick at the ball as well. Cordoba adjudged to have pulled back Lyndon Dykes, and the addict's worth the free kick.
I think that battle's going to continue for 90 minutes. But it's interesting, their setup. They're kind of leaving Amari Bell free. We're dragging Chambers back to take care of their right side, Magoma. Bell's not really picking him up. They're occupying Jones. Ramsey's occupied. Clark's occupied. It's very clever what Norwich are doing in terms of the system and how they're putting players into areas that we don't really want our players to go into.
Ball breaks to Amari Bell, who goes long looking for Campbell. Gets a touch to the ball, but McConville's pressure was strong enough to win the ball back for Norwich, as the ball inside to Slimane, and back it comes to the goal scorer Matson, who looks for the through ball towards Ahmed, and Ramsey goes back to Mannion, who miskicks his clearance, but a false nicely.
It's not a good set, you know. Like if there's a fault Ramsey has at times, he waits too long to do what's quite a simple pass, which brings pressure on itself, and then his set was too hard.
Dykes does superbly well for Charlton, lays it off for Clark. The addicts in the final third. Clark looking for a crossing opportunity, cuts back in, lays it for Carey, who strikes, and he hits Cordoba, and Norwich will now look to break as Mahagoma picks it up in the centre circle, and he drives at pace at the Charlton defence. Kisgarden to his right-hand side, sets him up. Kisgarden in a penalty, cuts back inside Jones. Kisgarden and fires wide. What a glorious chance again for Norwich on the counter-attack, but Kisgarden's effort goes wide in the end.
Yeah, that was trouble. The minute Jones didn't know who to take, and ideally he should have stayed with Kvistgaarden. He shouldn't have stopped, he shouldn't have paused and gone towards the ball. He should have just stayed with his man, which was the centre forward, and allowed someone else to deal with the ball. Once he did that and he stuttered, it was an easy pass to put Kvistgaarden through, and he's very unlucky. He cuts back from right to left, and you think that's finding the bottom corner, and it just drifts inches wide. And Norwich just looks slick in the final third when it comes together. And at the other end, we're setting Sonny Carey from 25, 30 yards, and there's no real link up. It's just a little bit disjointed when we get into the final third. It's all a bit random.
I always think Charlton suit playing against strikers a little bit more physical. When it's someone like Kisgarden, as we saw with Armstrong for Southampton early in the season, when it's players who drift and are fluid and are happy to go wide, this Charlton defence can get stretched. And we've seen that so far with Norwich going forward as Doherty with the ball down the line. Campbell tries to give chase, but Conville goes back to Kovacevic. And the goalkeeper for Norwich City goes long. Ramsey can head it away, but only as far as Fisher. Lays it off for Kenny McLean, and back it comes to Fisher, who's got space to drive forward, and there's plenty of it. Fisher out to the right-hand side. Magoma, options in the penalty area, looks to try and catch Mannion out.
I don't know. I think
post, or is it miscue?
I think a miscue. I think a miscue. You don't. If you're going to shoot from that angle, you go with more power than that.
He apologised, Magoma, but Mannion had to tip it over the crossbar nonetheless, and Norwich will have the corner.
But again, it's Norwich pushing to go 2-0 up, and I always say in these moments, you know, pulling back one goal, you know, is obviously relatively easy. Once you go 2-0 down in the first half of a game, it's a really big struggle, and we are hanging on at the moment to maintain just a 1-0 deficit. Norwich are in full flow. They're very good attacking side going forward.
McLean to take the corner. Charlton with everyone back. Chambers preventing the short corner route as McLean swings it in. Got over the target. Dykes wins the header. The ball's still not cleared by Charlton as Ahmed picks it up on the left-hand side. Cuts inside. Right-footed crosses. Headed away by Carey, and Campbell's touch. He looked to try and set Charlton forward. He flicked it forward. That looked like a handball by Ahmed coming back, but hasn't been spotted.
Look how quickly they pressurise, though. I agree, there's an element of handball in that, but look how quickly, as that ball came down out the sky and Campbell controlled it, how quickly they got around him to win that ball back.
It might have come off his chest then, his arm. The reason the decision wasn't given as Ahmed brings it forward. There's it off for Matson down the line, looking for Slimane, but Ramsey holds him off, and Mannion will come and gather, and Charlton will look to retain a bit of possession. As Mannion rolls it out. Jones. Back to Ramsey. Deep inside their own half. Ramsey across to Doherty, who's got Bell on the left-hand side. Norwich looking to press and withstand Charlton inside their own half, but Charlton have worked it nicely as Doherty finds Carey on the half turn, and Carey will look up. Out to left-hand side is Dykes, who controls. Back out to the right is Clark. Clark controls. Whipped ball in is a dangerous one. It's been flicked on. Comes to Chambers at the far post, and the half volley is blocked by Gibbs. Charlton corner.
Yeah, excellent move from deep in our own half. Started with Mannion, and at one point I thought we were in a bit of trouble. And it just takes that little bit of bravery to pass into somebody. It's got to be a decent pass, and this one was over 25 yards into Doherty. That led to a ball out back in and a switch of play. And breaking down this right-hand side, that was a really good move from Charlton. And first couple of passes in it, I didn't think we were out. So excellent from Charlton there.
Carey to take. Swings it in towards the 6-yard box. It's headed away by McConville. Clark to head it down to Carey, and Carey does well to fight for it initially, but a good sliding challenge comes in from Kisgarden. The ball has gone out of play, and Charlton will have the throw. Clark to take. The Ipswich Town low knee every time he receives the ball. I think he's actually an Ipswich fan as well, Harry Clark. So every time he's touching the ball, he's getting a loud chorus of boos in the Jimmy C stand. And it's Clark to take the throw towards the near post. Headed away. Doherty controls, thinks about a shot, but works it to left-hand side, back to Clark. Ball into the box. Jones helps it on, but that's comfortable for the Norwich goalkeeper. Kovacevic to gather, and looks to immediately go forward, but Bell's back for Charlton, and Carey goes all the way back to Mannion.
And again, look, four Norwich players stopping. You know, again, I'd hold that ball for a little longer, let that back line get organised and together before I played that. I mean, we're still recovering into shape here. Look, I mean, Chambers is panicking. He's actually made a 30-yard run back into a left-back spot. Sometimes you just got to allow your team to get organised when it's been under a little bit of pressure.
Gibbs looked for the 1-2, Macomb supplied the pass, and then Gibbs stopped, and Mannion came out of his goal. His clearance goes straight out of play for a Norwich City throw, as we've played 31.5 minutes. It's been a very good display from Norwich so far. As I mentioned pre-match, they've got plenty of injuries, but you wouldn't know it the way they're playing.
Yeah, their managers, look, they're changing man. Oh.
Gibbs' throw is a poor one, and gives it straight to Campbell, who'll drive at the Norwich defence. Campbell looks up, still with it, Tyrese Campbell, thinking about a strike. Campbell goes for it, it's deflected, and Charlton will have the corner.
Referee was going to give a goal kick then. He's only gone off the player's reaction to Norwich resetting into the middle of the 6 and the Charlton player going to get the ball to give the corner, that he's given the corner. He didn't see that. But you can't really have a go at Tyrese Campbell for driving 40 yards with it, cutting from left to, from left foot inside onto the right and getting his shot away, because he's starved of opportunities. So the minute he gets half a chance to get one, he's going to take it.
Carey to take the corner. Carey swings it in, looking towards Jones. Slimane heads it away. Ahmed keeps the ball in play on the left-hand side for Norwich. Back to McLean. Inside is Kisgarden. Coventry comes back, makes a brilliant challenge for Charlton. In the middle is Clark. Looks up and has Carey to his left. Instead goes inside to Campbell. Campbell now to Carey. With the ball in, looking for Jones, but Kovacevic will come to gather. Immediately rolls it out to Ahmed. Ramsey waits for the ball and then slides in. Wins the ball, but out of play it goes for a Norwich throw, which is taken quickly. Fisher Back to Cordoba, and Norwich will now reset with McLean. Forward is Makoma, who seems to be picking pockets of space in the middle for Norwich. Maatsen, lovely first touch, drifts away from Doherty.
Yeah. So that's what I was talking about earlier. So they occupied Chambers with Gibbs, the right back, who pushes really high and right, and that keeps Chambers at home. And then they drop Magoma into a midfield position. Our midfield's all linked up with their own players and get dragged about. And Bell doesn't want to leave left-sided centre-half to come all the way back in, or to follow Magoma into midfield. So he's getting a lot of time and space in there. And that's, when I said earlier about, their setup's very clever in terms of who they're trying to get free. And it's why they're on top of the game. They've got a set pattern. It works for them. And at the moment, we haven't done anything really to adjust our game. It's how safe we want to be behind the ball allows Norwich to do what they're doing. And at some point, we've got to risk players behind the ball. We've got to push players into midfield, which leaves us a little exposed, across the back line.
And Clark, facing his own goal, didn't want to go back to Mannion, but Mannion was calling for it. And then in the end, had to rush out of his goal to clear it away under heavy pressure. And Norwich will have the throw. Chasing to the penalty here on the left-hand side as Fisher will take. It's the ball back from Slimane. Comes to Maatsen. Now McConville. Over left and short. And goes long, headed away by Ramsey, but straight to McLean. Challenge comes in from Carey, and Slimane picks it up. Back it comes to Kenny McLean again. In the middle is Makoma. He's gone for a little bit of support. He's got a number of bodies back. Makoma gets inside onto his left foot. Little reverse ball, finds Kiskardin. There's a toe in there from Jones to clear it away. Kiskardin trying to turn. Goes back to Maatsen. Still Norwich in possession on the edge of the Charlton penalty. On the left-hand side now is Ahmed. Slimane trying to jink his way past Carey. Now look to do so against Ramsey in the penalty area. Ramsey forces it back. Fisher across to Makoma in space now. Makoma looks to strike it and gets that one wrong. Into the covered end it goes, but Norwich again just playing some decent football, and Charlton just struggling to win that ball back.
Yeah, the fact that they've had 3 shots from about 20 to 24 yards on this left-hand channel where they've been allowed to cut into on their right foot and get that shot away would suggest to me that our back line's dropping too deep, which means our midfield's then dropping onto the penalty spot, and you're leaving that area on the edge of the box, which, most people will tell you statistically that's the right area to leave. But these shots are coming in from 20, 22 yards with no real pressure on the ball. So I would suggest our back line's being forced too deep at the moment, which means it's really unsure about how to defend these Norwich attacks.
Charlton go along with the goal kick, and now Chambers to Bell, trying to find Campbell, gets that pass wrong, and Norwich will have the throw. Yeah, with Chris Garden on his own up top, he's not really playing. It sounds a silly comment, but he's not playing as a natural striker. He's drifting so wide, he's dropping in, and Jones is following him, but he's allowing a lot of pockets of space elsewhere as well.
Yeah, the key to their thing, the majority of things they're doing is Magoma. Magoma's the one that's dropping in and causing the issues, and Gibbs plays a part in that because he occupies Chambers.
Ball to the right to Clark, who's under pressure, goes back to Ramsey. As it comes to Bell, neat touch to go past Makoma, and he's driving forward Amari Bell. Campbell's on the left-hand side. Tyrese Campbell cuts inside. Right-footed ball in with pace, headed away by Fisher. Jones trying to fight for the second ball. Doherty gets to touch the ball, and a great sliding challenge from Coventry. A little bit old school. Slimane felt the contact of that.
Yeah. So as we build up play in that last attack, Amari Bell feeds to Campbell. Campbell goes from left to right and delivers, and it's just Dykes and Clark coming in around the back. You have to have Sonny Carey arriving in the middle of the box. You need a third person. If it's not Carey, it needs to be Doherty. But that build-up play from Campbell is really good. You get Bell breaking out a left-sided centre-half. He feeds Campbell. They're not getting that tight either. Campbell's allowed to go from left to right and feed him with no real pressure, but someone's got to be breaking in from midfield to help Dykes. Dykes becomes easy to occupy because he's on his own. If a centre-half has to look at 2 players, and if that be Carey or Doherty, he's got a bit of an issue.
Well, Slimane certainly felt the consequence of that Coventry challenge. He's currently down receiving treatment. An opportunity for Nathan Jones to have a word with his players, or he's not even doing so in fairness. It's just Charlton players getting a drink now. Gaffer has a word with Sonny Carey. Yeah, it's a half that we're expecting Norwich to be good. Let's be honest, they have been good for a while now, but we haven't played Wednesday. Charlton have had a clear week, haven't had all these injuries. I think maybe we certainly didn't expect it to be this good so far for the visitors, but that comes with the question, is it a case of Norwich being really good or Charlton just not being good enough, or a bit of both?
No, I think we've struggled to come to terms with how they're playing, and we haven't adjusted in terms of, they've had really good moments, and I'm not saying we could be 3-0 down here, but I think the save from Mannion is a wonderful save low down to his left. It's an excellent save to keep the scoreline at 1-0, and then I do think Kvisgaarden should perhaps score. Once he's worked himself onto the left-hand side, it is literally just a pass into the bottom corner, and he's just scuffed it wide. And if you think about the pressure we've put on their goalkeeper, Kovacevic, we haven't really tested him. I wasn't expecting to be sort of that one-sided in terms of opportunities, but they're a good team. We sort of built it up before the game. We knew they were in form. We knew they'd turned a corner. We knew the manager had made a difference. But at the moment, their system's causing us a lot more problems than our system is causing them. And they have, let's be brutal here. They have better technical players who occupy better areas, and when they get balls into feet, they're more dangerous in possession than perhaps we are at times.
Well, it's your phrase you use a lot of, is football intelligence.
Yeah.
Players like Kenny McLean have played at a much higher level than Championship. And I think it can be seen as well as goal kick is headed away by Jones, and
it goes back to the crossing moment. You've got Doherty and Carey. They're only 22 yards out, 23 yards out. You'd imagine it was Carey that would be breaking in. He's good for a goal. He's 6 foot, but he waits at the edge of the box as Campbell cuts back on his right, drive in towards the near post, and then Dykes can maybe occupy the far. But just Dykes in there and Clark coming around the back, it's going to be quite easy to defend.
Jones cuts it out from centre half and keeps the ball in down the line to Campbell. Just slips as he controlled, does well to get back to his feet. And back it comes to Jones. Then Doherty fizz the ball through to Campbell. So Norwich will now look to break. Slimane back on the field and okay to continue as Fisher drifts inside. Now to the right to Gibbs. Gibbs has got plenty of space to bring this ball forward for Norwich. Ball towards the edge of the penalty area. It's a risky clearance from Jones, and Clark has to head it away. So McLean recycles for Norwich. It's Fisher.
Who's the left back? Who's inverted because we've got no wide player.
Ball to Makoma, looking to hold off Amari Bell. Makoma for the through ball to Ahmed, who drifted wide, comes off Ramsey, and Norwich will settle for the throws. Ahmed on the left-hand side for Norwich will leave this for Fisher. Fisher throws inside to Ahmed. Exchange passes again as Ahmed back to Godova. Now McConville up to Makoma, who can turn again in space. Paris McConville thinking about a shot. Still wide, and now Makoma will go for it. It's comfortably wide in the end, but again, that man Makoma picking up the space. We've seen him do that for Bolton in League One a couple of seasons ago. Permanent signing in January from Brentford. He's a player of plenty of talent. Surprised someone else didn't come in from a little bit earlier.
Well, he should be feeling a little confident because we're not really changing what we do to accommodate him, and I'd say he's impacting the game now to a degree where we've got to do something to occupy that area.
Dykes heads the ball forward and might have fouled McLean in the process. Decision is given. McLean wants to get on with things and blocked by Carey to do so. This is inside to McConville. Steps forward, that's away with ball. Good challenge comes in from Matson, an important one with Clark looking to intercept He's had a hell of a half, Matson, not only the goal, but some of the touches and interceptions from midfield. As Ahmed back to Fisher. It's over. Kovacevic in the Norwich City goal. Out to the right-hand side is Gibbs. Now Makoma back out to the right to Gibbs. Campbell slow to react, now tries to get back as Gibbs goes on the right-hand side. Campbell does well to return and just force Gibbs inside, but Norwich still passing the ball around. Matson lays it off for McComan, now Fisher. And to left is Ahmed, who looked to take on Clark. Just stumbles on the ball, but still with it. Ahmed across to Makoma. First time into Slimani. Good challenge comes in from Ramsey. Wins the ball back for Charlton. Ball up towards Dykes, but McLean's there to win it back again for Norwich.
How quickly they're around it, though. You know, it's a feature of their game. That's twice we've played out on the edge of the box. Twice they've been on top of the person that's receiving within milliseconds, winning the ball back. Defence can't get out, line can't push up, and you get trapped.
Playing forward, looking for runners, and he's got plenty of them. Out to left is Fisher. Fisher taken on Clark. Ball inside to Ahmed. Oh, there was a 1-2, which instead goes back to McLean, who whips the ball in. Jones miscues clearance, and Fisher with the first time effort scuffs it wide. And
it's come in very quick, hasn't it? And he's gone for the first time shot, because he knows if he takes a touch, he's probably going to get pressurised, and technically just took his eye off the ball a little too early, and it's come off his ankle, and out he goes. But yeah, again, you know, we've got more than enough players behind the ball to cope, but we're not sure who's supposed to be pressurising. It's a bit of an issue for us.
Charlton goal kick headed away by Fisher. Doherty to Mari Bell. Looks to turn Kisgarden, and it's done so nicely, but looks forward, looks towards Dykes. His clearance is a little miscued, and then Fisher just clears it away. Out of danger, Charlton will have the throw. As we've got 3 added minutes at the end of this first half. Charlton 0, Norwich 1, the scoreline. It's Coventry, the ball forward. Goodova heads it away. Charlton with the throw, and Gary Clark will come across to take, and Charlton will send bodies forward for this. The first throw in just of the match by Clark caused a few issues. The last one, or one of the last ones, didn't beat the first man, so we'll wait and see what this one could do for Charlton as Clark throws it in. It's a good one, but it's well headed away by McConville. Doherty heads it to the right-hand side. Clark keeps it in. No, he hasn't. He's a little bit unlucky there, Clark. He wasn't happy with the system, feeling he did keep it in. Norwich will have the throw. Fisher throws into McLean, who clears forward. Jones gets a touch to the ball, but Matson controls, and now out to the right is Gibbs, as Norwich looks to create another opportunity before half-time. Gibbs being tracked this time by Campbell. Back to Matson, and now McLean. Ball inside to Kisgarden, and back it comes to McConville, as Norwich happy to keep possession. Fisher now. And Fisher again, who's in the centre circle, the left back, and is looking for options. Gibbs makes a nice forward run. He might have been tripped by Chambers, and I don't think anyone really spotted that. Now it goes for a Charlton goal kick.
But again, you look at Fisher, left back, and because we have no wide player, and because Ahmed's driving Clark back, who's our wide player really in this system, he's being dragged back into a back five. Fisher's got no responsibility, and so to give the overload into the centre midfield, he pushes from left back to a sitting central midfield position, and then no one knows who to go. You know, no one knows in the midfield who to pressurise him. So he's having a field day in there, and then when we do try and pressurise him, he's got that little slide ball in between the lines.
Dykes the header forward from a long kick from Mannion. Now Campbell looks to lay it off for Clark, but it's well intercepted by that man Fisher. Clears it forward. Mannion will come out of his goal. The ball. And there is the half-time whistle. After 45 minutes, Charlton 0, Norwich 1, in a half in which the visitors have certainly been worth the scoreline. Matson the only goal of the game so far after 4.5 minutes. His long-range effort is too strong for Will Mannion to keep it out. Norwich have certainly been the better of the sides in that first half. McHomer had a shot which was saved by Mannion. Kisgarden should have made it too when he cut inside Lloyd Jones and fired wide. At half-time here it is. Charlton 0, Norwich City 1, and Brownie, yeah, a tough first 45 minutes from a Charlton perspective, but I always say in football when it's still 1-0.
And that's the key. That's the key to the first 45 minutes. Outplayed by a very good Norwich side, but only the goal deficit. You know, we've got our keeper to thank for that, and a couple of misses from close proximity. And the fact of the matter is they've only got that one goal advantage. And whilst it remains that, it can just, you know, will Nathan Jones change formation? Will he change personnel? Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe he'll send the same side back out and say, look, this is what I've seen, this is what I want you to do. But whatever the circumstance, we've got to be better in the final third. We've got to be a little brighter with our movement. We've got to be sharper with our passes. And we've certainly got to get more players into the penalty box when we're in crossing positions, which has been the mainstay of the first 45. If you think about how we've entered their 18-yard box, it's been mainly from wide areas, and yet you've just got Clark in there and maybe Dykes in there, and we certainly need to find a way to get more players inside that penalty area to be more of a threat. But yeah, I mean, that was a half dominated by Norwich. They thoroughly deserved their lead, and yeah, Nathan Jones got a little bit of work to do to turn this one round.
Well, there you are. There are the thoughts of Steve Brown here at half-time. Myself and Brownie are going to go for a short break here on Charlton TV while the future addicts in the academy have their lap of honour here on Academy Day in SC7. And at half-time, actually, we've got a video, this time from the Charlton women's side. Karen Hill's side got back to winning ways last Sunday as they beat Sunderland in the WSL2 at the Valley. Let's take a look at how they got on.
The fourth officials indicated that there will be a minimum of 1 minute added time. 1 minute.
Karen, you asked for a response. You got the perfect one with 3 points. How happy are you with today's performance?
Yeah, I'm really happy for the players. It's been a tough week, lots of different ups and downs, but today I thought we was excellent. I said at the start it was going to be a really tight-knit game, and it come down to a set piece, and thankfully it was a set piece that we ended up getting on the end of. So, no, I'm really pleased with that performance. It shows a lot of character, especially when you went 27 games unbeaten and then to lose. That could have had, you could then start self-doubting yourself. But this group of players don't self-doubt themselves. They just bounce straight back and put in a performance like that against a very good side. So I'm super pleased and proud of every single one of them.
A set-piece routine to win the game with a brilliant finish from Amelie. Is that something you've worked on in training?
Yeah, set pieces are huge in this league. We talk about set pieces all the time. That you give set pieces to the opposition. If it's a perfect delivery, if it's a good delivery, then 9 times out of 10 they'll end up getting on the end of it. So we try to limit the amount of chances actually that they had, but they created some. They had about 4 or 5 corners in that first half and put us under pressure. But we've been working on our defensive responsibilities. But then at the other end, we've got attacking set pieces that we work really hard on as well. And then it's just about the quality of delivery, the willingness to put your heads on the ball and to read the flight of the ball. And I thought we'd done that today. So I was really pleased because they are a good defensive set piece team. So to score against them makes me even more prouder of this group.
And defence has really been your backbone this season. And in that second half, you stood tall. You were saying stand all the time. How proud of you of the team, of how they defended in that second half?
Yeah, I think when you don't have the ball, you have to have players that are switched on and concentrated for 98 minutes. And I thought our discipline out of possession is something that we pride ourselves on. Like I said in many interviews before, we are actually quite comfortable when we don't have the ball. As long as we do our individual roles and then as a collective we stick together, we always make sure that we try and stand up, help each other, and don't give any opportunities for referees to make decisions that could go against us. And I thought again today, I thought we were superb out of possession and something I'm really proud of.
And finally, 4 games to go and an FA Cup quarter-final. How exciting is it, given you have so much to play for still?
Yeah, we've got a lot to play for, as a lot of other teams have as well, and it's always nice to be in this position. But the main thing is that we have to make sure that we enjoy that, because that's a feeling that we wanted to have on the back of that loss on Wednesday. And it shows that this group, the character that they've got, the belief that they've got in each other, and we'll look at that this week and we'll make sure that we work really hard, because we've got a really important game next week against Bristol. And that is the focus and that is the attention. So all our attention will be to make sure these players are all rested, we'll look after them, make sure that they're all in a great place to go and perform against Bristol next week.
Well, welcome back to Charlton TV. We're at half-time. Charlton 0, Norwich City 1. Both teams returning out to the pitch for the second half. Doesn't look like there will be any Charlton changes. We'll come on to that shortly, but alongside myself, Greg Stubley, a little bit later taking over duties will be Terry Smith, but first things first, Mr. Steve Brown. Brownie, yeah, no changes it looks like at half-time for Charlton. Does that surprise you slightly?
No, I just. But if you're not making any changes, then you give them a game plan that helps them occupy Norwich. So we'll see when we kick off what changes Nathan has implemented into the structure. Because if we just sit and do what we did in that first half, then I think they will go 2-0 up Norwich. But we've got to do something different to impact the game. Have we had a shot on target? No. I haven't looked at the statistics today.
Maybe, well, there's one according to your stats in front of you, but I can't really remember that, if I'm brutally honest.
Was it? Did Carey have one? Anyway, we've got to do more in the final third to at least threaten their goal.
We are back underway for the second half. Can Charlton get back into it? Potentially go on, and we'll wait and see as Charlton shooting towards the covered end. And first things first is Norwich to clear the ball, and then Lloyd Jones to do likewise for Charlton. Norwich will have a throw deep inside their half. As I said, no changes at half-time. So Charlton have Mannion, back three of Ramsey, Jones, Bell, wing-backs in Chambers and Clark. Midfield three of Coventry, Doherty, Carey and Campbell and Dykes up front as the ball forward is headed away by Jones. Doherty flicks it on. Dykes tries to get to it and Plain heads it away. Ramsey likewise for Charlton. Carey, let's see more of Sonny Carey. He's a former Norwich City Academy graduate. He's also a Norwich City fan, so let's see a little bit more of him second half. As Chambers, good ball forward to Doherty. Ball down the line to Dykes is a good one as well. Lyndon Dykes looks up, tries to poke it forward towards Campbell. The ball's just behind him and Matson intercepts and finds Ahmed, who go on a little bit of a run. Doherty close by. Charlton captain was booked in that first half. As Ahmed turns, and in the middle is McLean. To the right to Gibbs. Looks forward, well cut off by Coventry, and the ball down the line will give Campbell something to chase, and a strong challenge comes in from a Conville. Charlton will have the throw. Bell takes, Chambers. Two Norwich players for company, and Slimane just tripped his heels, and the Addicts will have the free kick. And Chambers will come across to take, and Jones, Ramsey and Clark will go forward into the penalty area alongside Doherty, Campbell and Dykes. Coventry and Carey towards the edge of the penalty area as Chambers prepares to take. For the referee to blow his whistle, and has done so as Chambers whips it in, and Kovacevic probably caught that but opts to parry it away, and Matson will pick it up and clears down the line. Coventry back for Charlton, who just started to lose his footing and did well to just keep it and go back to Mannion. Clears forward. Dykes will jump, and it's a good header towards Lloyd Jones, who stayed forward, but Kadama clears it away. Campbell now holds off Gibbs, looks to take him on the outside, and heavy touch on Makoma, cuts across and holds him up. Norwich will have the goal kick.
Yeah, doubled up well there. Tyrese just didn't spot it, because actually the move was to fake to go down the line, cut back on the right. They doubled up quick on Tyrese Campbell there. It's a front-footed start, at the very least.
Kovacevic with the goal kick. He's happy with the options short, so he's going to go long. He's taking his time in doing so. That's for Kisgarden. Jones wins that battle as Fisher header forward. Jones again wins the header. Dykes down to Carey. Carey picks it up, looks forward. Nice bit of footwork, opens some space, pokes it out to the right hand side, and Clark looking to take it beyond Fisher. Keeps it in, Clark, but the ball is too close to the goalkeeper. Yeah,
I can see why they did what they just did, push the line up. The reason it took so long is, like I've been saying, you know, in terms of what we should do is you control where the back line goes, you get up to the halfway line, but they don't want to make this a fight game. That suits us.
Ball forward looks to Slimani and it's well cut out by Amari Bell. Good bit of defending. To Ramsey, keeps it in, back to Bell, and forward to Coventry. He looks up, long ball forward will give Campbell something to chase. McConville not sure what to do, the ball bounces and then he heads it back to Kovacevic. And rolls it out to Gibbs. Back inside to McConville. Garden across to Cordoba, who's got space ahead of him. He'll be going to the World Cup with Panama, the centre half. Forward to Ahmed, now Fisher, back to left-footed Cordoba, who wanted to go long. Dykes prevents that, but the ball goes back to Kovacevic, and now McConville. To Gibbs, first time ball forward, chested down by Slimani. Magoma, back to Slimani, nice little touch beyond Coventry. Carey does well to get there first for Charlton. Jones the ball forward, Campbell's coming back from offside position. That's McConville inside to Matson.
That kills you. He had plenty of time to get back onside there.
Ball down the line, finds Ahmed, and Ahmed will look to take on Ramsey, approaching the penalty, goes on the outside. Ahmed still with it, and good pressure from Ramsey, denies a clear opportunity. Ahmed drags the shot wide in the end.
Yeah, that's hurt Ramsey, I think, on the follow-through. But he committed to making that block, which he had to do. No one likes, as a centre-half, no one likes being backpedalled up into your box, because if you have to commit to the challenge, you don't get it right. It's a penalty. But he didn't, you know, again, when you're challenged, don't go across the lines, go parallel. And you'll find there that Ramsey went parallel, so there was no chance of the foul.
Good chest control from Dykes and the Mannion goal kick. Carey under pressure from Ahmed, does well to hold him off, and out to the right to Clark. Clark looking to take on Fisher. 2 for company, Fisher with the challenge, but Charlton will have the throw. Carey takes, throws in towards Dykes. Cordoba trying to get there, Dykes holding him off, and the ball's poked. McLean's there for Norwich, brilliant play from the midfielder, the captain. Now Ahmed, ball down the line to Kisgarden. Jones comes across, Kisgarden holds it up. Charlton do get bodies back, which forces Norwich to keep possession.
And there's a prime example of what you said in the first half about playing at a higher level. It's very composed in and around the edge of the box, and it's led to a break down the left-hand side rather than a panic clearance. It was excellent from McLean.
Clark's ball forward, deflects off of Kisgarden, and Charlton will have the goal kick. 52 minutes played. Charlton 0, Norwich 1.
Yeah, not a great deal to report, to be honest with you, other than that we've started on the front foot. But there are, I've said this, the more we risk to stop what they're doing, the more we leave ourselves a tad exposed behind the ball. But at some point, you've got to take that risk.
Ramsey goes down by Ahmed, goes back to Mannion. It's an awkward first touch right edge of his 6-yard box. The ball's cleared away. And McLean again doing the tidying up for Norwich. Inside to Gibbs. Campbell with the pressure. Gibbs turns him initially. Campbell still with the pressure. Ball up towards Kisgarden, a loose touch. Yeah. Bell there. And Doherty has denied the opportunity to pass the ball wide as the referee calls it back for the offside. It was about 5-6 seconds after Charlton retained a bit of possession that he did that, which was why Charlton were frustrated as Coventry goes long. So, decent looking idea. Can Campbell keep it in? Can't. And Norwich will have the throw. As Gibbs look to take. And Charlton are going to make a change shortly. Miles Leaburn looks like he's coming on. It's ball down the line, handed on, and Coventry will pick it up. Back to Mannion. He goes long. It's in between Dykes and Campbell. It's headed away by McConville. It's ball forward and breaks now to Slimani, who's got Ahmed on the left-hand side. Ahmed will control the ball, trying to cut inside Ramsey, and Bell clears it away. It's a poor ball to Ahmed, and that allowed Charlton to get bodies back to defend. It could have very well been another glorious chance for Norwich had that pass been right. It's McConville was touched, Dykes sliding in, but McLean avoids that challenge from his Scotland colleague. Smith's on the ball forward. Jones heads it away. Chambers keeps it in play. It's up in the air. Doherty helps it on. Campbell will give chase. McConville clears it away. Wants to get on with things. Charlton with the throw. Chambers gets it back from Doherty. Inside looking for Carey, but there's Ahmed to pick it up. Ahmed looks forward. Looks to take on Chambers. Inside to Makoma. Makoma, lovely ball to left-hand side. Kisgarden, ball across, looks towards Ahmed, is parried away by Mannion. And a vital piece of goalkeeping with Ahmed waiting for tapping in from short range. Loose ball back from Maatsen, but still Norwich keeping possession. I feel like this is a crucial point in this game as Norwich still on the attack. Gibbs, back to McLean. Inside to Maatsen. Across now is Fisher. Fisher looks at the threaded ball towards Gibbs. It's a good one as well. Gibbs has touched just a little bit too much, and Mannion gathers.
Yeah, and they're dragging Campbell all the way back into a left-back spot. Gibbs, the right-back, pushing on off the shoulder. And actually, I thought Mannion's positioning was superb. As soon as that touch was overhit, he was on that like a shot, and he's just made an intervention on that cross that was going to be a certain second goal for Norwich. They're in the ascendancy again. They're on the front foot looking to put this game to bed.
Well, Charlton are going to make this change. Be Miles Leaburn to come on.
Substitution for the Alex. Make sure you appreciation to number 19.
It's Chambers coming off. So maybe see
Requesting Luke to please welcome number 11.
Tyrese Campbell to left wing back, perhaps. It does look that way. Leaburn and Dykes up top. It's an attacking substitution. Gibbs gets the ball back. Campbell is touched, loses his footing now. Makoma on the left-hand side will find Ahmed. Ahmed looking to take on Ramsey. Ball back to Slimani. And now Fisher cuts inside. Doherty's there for Charlton. And Carey looks to break Maatsen with the challenge. Ramsey taking another touch and concedes possession. And luckily for him, Maatsen's offside anyway.
Yeah, I think Fisher should have unloaded a shot there. If I'm honest, I thought the pass was overdoing it. You're inside the 18-yard box, it's on your favoured right foot, on the angle, take the shot.
Now under pressure from Kisgarden, back to Coventry, and now Mannion in his 6-yard box. Has to clear it away. Towards Clark, that's a good header. Leaburn will give chase. Quarter was there to turn. Inside to McLean. It's McLean under pressure from Doherty. Turns again. Ball across to Gibbs. Gibbs inside to Slimani, goes back to McConville. Now inside is McLean. Good challenge comes in from Leaburn, but the ball breaks forward. And good challenge comes in from Lloyd Jones, who can step forward out of defence. Out to the right-hand side is Clark. Clark looks to whip the ball in, but he's overhit that cross. And Norwich will have the goal kick.
Yeah, and we've got to see a little bit more of that, haven't we? A little bit more aggression. Miles Leaburn getting tight, nicking the ball off. Jones then getting tight to the first ball up, getting in front and driving us forward. And then just that lack of quality from Clark on the cross, which is not like him. He's got a decent right foot, decent delivery. He was expecting that to hit that second 6-yard box. Couldn't manage to do so.
Goal kick is cleared away by Bell. Clark controls. Ball back is picked off by Maatsen, and now Ahmed looks to bring the ball forward. Fisher on the overlap. Ahmed finds Fisher. Back to Maatsen. Oh, Ahmed. to take on Clark. Cuts inside. Ball in, headed away by Coventry. Makoma controls. Samane now. Ball breaks to Campbell. As Charlton will look to break. Campbell in a bit of cul-de-sac looking for support. Still with Tyrese Campbell. Free now for company. Cuts inside and challenge comes in not once but twice by Chris Garden. Wins the ball back. Makoma. And McLean. Dykes this time with the challenge, but still Norwich keep possession as Gibbs is back to McConville. Matson, challenge comes in from Carey, but Jones struggling to get a foot on the ball, but now they will do as Gibbs' ball is loose. And Coventry goes back to Mannion. Clears it away. Towards Clark. Norwich will have the throw through.
Yeah. So we give the ball away. Sorry, we get the turnover. And it's been clear from minute one that when there's a turnover in the opposition half, so Norwich's attacking half, Charlton's defensive half, they hunt in packs quickly. So the guy in possession that gets a turnover, he needs help really quickly. He needs one or two options. What we can't do is watch him dribble into 2 or 3 Norwich players and the turnover go back Norwich. We've got to come alive a bit quicker when the turnover comes. Tyrese Campbell wins the ball back. No real support anywhere, and he ends up turning around in circles and being challenged. You've got to switch on really quickly when Norwich put the press on.
Norwich will have the throw through Fisher, who came through Bromley's academy. Those spells at Cray Wanderers and Welling United, now in the England under-21 squad. Putting a decent shift at left back. Fisher taking too long for the referee's liking.
I think the crowd bought that one.
Yellow card for Fisher. Maybe he was hearing me talk about his life.
Well, yeah, and the crowd got on top of him and the referee reacted. I thought he took less time than the goalkeeper. He got away with it.
Fisher with the throw inside. Coventry does well to cut that off as Bell. Across to Jones. Down the line to Ramsey. It comes to Lloyd Jones. Back to Mannion, and Jones will have it again. Looking up, wanting movement. Pull forward towards Dykes, who had time to control. No real Charlton shout around him, so the header back has gone straight to Norwich again, and Makoma inside to McLean. Inside is Fisher. McLean goes on a run. Fisher cuts inside. Now to Matson. To Fisher. To Cordovan now. Nice little flick from Makoma. Finds McLean. Exchanges passes with Makoma. Ball forward to Slimane. Coventry wins the ball back well for Charlton. Good ball up towards Leaburn as well. Leaburn turns, not a lot ahead of him, pokes it towards Dykes. Asking for people to support. Carey comes from deep. Now Coventry. The left-hand side is Bell. Charlton worked it nicely in the end. Bell has Campbell to his left. Tyrese Campbell has space. 2 for company, Campbell. And get through one of them. Keeps it in as well, Campbell. Slimane there with the interception, and Gibbs clears it away. Just woken the Charlton crowd a little bit. As Jones inside to Coventry. Now Ramsey. Back to Jones. Across to Bell. Campbell trying to come back in his run, but it's not quick enough to get there, and now Norwich will look to break as Gibbs goes on a run. Cleared away by Jones. Matson now inside to McLean. Matson again. Little touch from Doherty, and Matson, I think.
Oh, the substitute's killed him. He's walking down the line to warm up, and he thought that was a teammate, and he slid it to him, and out the pitch he goes for a throw-in. Tyrese Campbell just got up his work rate a little bit. If he's going to go down the left-hand side as a wing-back to making a break, and I know he got to the byline and tried to cross it in, but Gibbs was in that moment. He's got up, and he was a threat down the right-hand side, so just needs to make sure that when he has his attack, he gets back a little bit quicker than he did on that last occasion.
Campbell now, opportunity to take on Gibbs. Goes on the outside, gets beyond Gibbs as well. Campbell stays on his feet, looks up towards Doherty. Doherty controls, and his shot is parried away by Kovacevic. And Charlton will have the corner.
Yeah, and that's what he can provide when he gets into the right areas. There is a threat in there. That's the frustration about Tyrese Campbell. He has assets going forward that are very hard to defend against. But his all-round game for me needs a little bit of work. It needs some fine-tuning.
Carey to take. Whips it in towards the far post. His header from Ramsey off the bar. Clark with a shot well blocked by quarterback. Carey back to Bell. Best chance of the match for Charlton. Kane Ramsey hitting the bar. Bell back into the penalty area. Jones stays forward, gets something to it. Oh, was he dragged down there by McConville? Charlton want a penalty. Not given. Play continues as Coventry's ball forward. Cleared away, but we had to see that one again. As Amari Bell for Charlton. Cuts inside Samane. Coventry in the halfway line. Ball forward, looks for Dykes and it's overhit. And Kovacevic will gather, but Charlton have a lot of complaints towards the referee. Was that a penalty? Or should it have been a penalty is more the point.
I'd have to see a replay, but look, we've had two golden opportunities there. One was a great block from Cordoba on the strike from Clark. He didn't do anything wrong, really. He just put power. His left foot, I think, the shot through the back of the ball. But the header, I think, it's cannoned off the crossbar, is a wonderful opportunity from close proximity and probably should find the back of the net. And this is Norwich's issue. They haven't got that second goal. They're leaving the door ajar for Charlton to come back through.
Doherty with the ball forward. McConville heads it away. Now Campbell. Campbell on the outside. Cuts back inside. Tyrese Campbell. Whip ball in. It's a good one towards Clark at the far post. Who heads over the bar, but another good chance for Charlton.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting caught between the two. I'm just having a little look at the replay. There is certainly two hands on the arm on Jones. Whether it's enough physicality. I'm seeing another one now. He jumps up. Interesting. I've seen them given for sure.
It was clumsy from McConville, that's for sure. I think, yeah, the referee definitely probably would have been advised to have a look at it, and if it was VAR.
But very good spell for Charlton. Three really good opportunities in very quick time. Got the header from Ramsey, the follow-up shot from Clark, and then Clark again at the far post. And that hopefully has rattled Norwich a little bit. Disjoints, as I say, they're breaking up down the left.
Ahmed will look to take on Ramsey. Clark gets back, but Ahmed's still in possession. Out to the right, it's Makoma. Makoma looking for a shooting opportunity, drills it, and Jones with the clearance, but still Norwich on the attack. Kisgarden cuts inside. Whip ball in towards the far post. Makoma gets there, but can't steer it on target. And Charlton will have the goal kick as I hand over to Terry Smith for the rest of the second half.
Yeah, and that's a wicked delivery inside Amari Bell, and Magoma just goes in behind him, meets it on the half volley and can't control it technically, so it just spins off the top of his boot and high and wide, and that's a good chance for Norwich. Game's opening up.
Yeah, a little snapshot, thank you, Greg, for the fact that despite the Charlton pressure, Norwich still carry a threat, and they're coming forward again with Ahmed. Out to Kvistgarden, into the penalty area for Norwich, and it looked like he'd run out of room there, but got a cross that was straight to Mannion. Norwich about to make a change, but throw from Mannion out to Carey, who can turn. Carey with Mautson pursuing him. Out to the right is Clark, a little bit isolated, goes back to Carey. Carey Doherty inside, but also there is Ramsey. Ramsey will switch it across, looking for Leeburn. Leeburn will jump, gets ahead to it, but he can't guide it to Dykes. And it'll run through to Kovacevic. Charlton with a couple of real opportunities to bring this back level. Still remains the Charlton a goal behind here at the Valley. Ahmed picks it up in the centre, out to Makoma on the right, running at Bell. Still Makoma, cuts in on his left, gets the shot deflected. Oh, needs the save from Mannion, and a double save with Kvistgarden bearing down on him. It's out to the right-hand side. And Fisher. Shot blocked away, but Mannion pulling off. Double save to keep Charlton in this. On the right, back inside to Ahmed. Doherty with the challenge, but Ahmed still has it, edge of the area. Out to the right, and McComa. McComa looks to take the shot, another deflection. And there'll be a corner to Norwich.
Yeah, again, I think he's got to take that shot. The first time there's a little stutter, which allows the block to get in place, but I think without Mannion today, this could be 2 or 3. He's made 2 excellent saves, one in the first half, low down to his left, that one there, and then the claw out, the reaction to get up and claw that ball away from the oncoming Norwich player is excellent.
Well, Slimani coming off for Wright. Jacob Wright coming off, as well as Kvistgaarden. Errol Mundle-Smith will come on in his place. So Kvistgaarden and Slimani off, Wright and Mundle-Smith on. As we wait for this corner in front of the scoreboard to be taken. Now, I haven't seen the replay of that penalty, but I'm sure it'll be a talking point after the game.
Yeah, he'll want one, without any shadow of doubt. Nathan Jones will absolutely say that's a penalty, and I'll understand why. There was 2 arms around, there was 2 hands on Jones's arm. But it's the amount of force that's going to be the issue. But Nathan Jones will absolutely want a penalty for that.
Corner on the Norwich City left in front of the scoreboard. Swung in to the near post, headed away, it will drop to the edge of the post. Shot coming in from Gibbs, deflected, and again Mannion. It might have been Martson with a little back heel. Again Mannion down to his right sharply to save. Out to Bell on a run, Amari Bell. Still Bell going forward. Oh, and then he's just clipped. That's from Martson, and should find his name in the book because of it. Runs away, but gets the yellow card anyway. Charlton will have a free kick. 12 yards or so inside the Norwich City half, just left of centre. Charlton are going to make a change as well. Looks like just looking down, it looks like Fevrier. I think, yes it is. Fevrier coming on for Coventry. Jaden Fevrier coming on. More width to be added here. We'll restart with the Amari Bell free kick. And the corner doesn't look 10 yards well. Now he is. The referee just telling him to come back. Fevrier on the pitch as Bell lifts this free kick towards the edge of the penalty area. There's a little flick coming in. Did that come off a Norwich City player last? It did. It'll be a Charlton corner on the right-hand side. Yeah. Fevrier's first role in the game will be to take this corner. And the last spot of sunshine in front of the covered end. Just teeing it up. Everybody bar Amari Bell in and around the penalty area. Corner comes in into the near post, headed away by Cordoba. Carey thought he might have to pursue that out, but ball goes comfortably out of play for a Charlton throw on the right-hand side. Clark with it. And some distance on this into the box. Jones has stayed there, just goes over his. Cordoba clears it away. Ahmed's there for Norwich, and Clark get there to intercept. Ball does go outside. Looked like it had gone cleanly out of play even from this distance. That's a great tackle from Clark to win it back for Charlton. Carey with the ball in. That's looking for Dykes, comfortably caught in the end by Kovacevic. But comfortably out of play from this distance. So the fans over there were incensed that the assistant didn't give it. But nothing has. So we play on. Ball down the left. Campbell with the interception, but it's away for a throw into Norwich. On the Norwich right-hand side. Thrown back to McConville. It's a tricky one for him to deal with, and just skied that up in the air. Carey and Martson will challenge for this. Carey gets something on it, but Dykes can't go for it because he'd be offside, and so the ball in the end runs harmlessly out for a goal kick. 73, coming up to 74 minutes played here at the Valley. Norwich still a goal to the good.
Yeah, and I've got to say, you know, both sides creating opportunities in the last 10 minutes, and you don't quite know which way this one could go. Charlton have at least threatened a goal on several occasions, which makes them a little bit more dangerous than the first 45. But this Norwich side, once they string their passes together, cut through Charlton quite easily at times.
Well, Martin's doing a little bit of that already. He goes, carries the ball all the way through into the Charlton half, out to Ahmed, back into Martin. Now got nowhere to go, so he's up McLean behind. McComber, a little 1-2, and it's out to the right-hand side, and Gibbs. Gibbs held up by Campbell. Inside it goes to the substitute right. Back out to Gibbs, trying to send right on his way, but he's put too much on that. It's away for a Charlton goal kick.
Yeah, I think as we enter the last sort of 15 plus add-ons, I think I'd be inclined to attack down this right-hand side a little bit, try and peg Campbell back and take him away from his threat, which is on the front foot and in the opposition half.
It's Campbell and Bell combining, but Charlton penned in a little bit here on the right-hand corner. Sorry, our left-hand corner. And as such, Bell just tries to swipe it down the line, gets underneath that and slightly skews it. It's away for a Norwich City throw. Gibbs with it. Still not taking the throw. How long the referee's going to let him do this, but throws it into right. We'd run into the right-hand corner, back to McComber. Now Gibbs again, right into the feet of Cordoba in the edge of the centre circle, bringing it forward. And a touch to right, back out to McLean. McComber turns it round the corner, looking for rightness. Well intercepted by Doherty, but his clearance goes sideways. It's going to be a throw-in on the opposite side, the Norwich left. Ahmed just leaving it for Fisher. Fisher with no runners ahead of him, making any effort to... Fisher's already in the book for this, so they wanted to be careful. Does eventually throw it in, and then they cross right across the 6-yard box. Campbell will pick it up for Charlton and go on a run here, taking on Gibbs. He's momentarily left Gibbs. There's 4 Norwich players coming across to try and deal with Therese Campbell. He does really well to pick out Carey inside. Sonny Carey driving forward. Out to his right-hand side is Ramsey with Clark on the overlap. Clark down the right-hand side. Can he get across? And he does. Ramsey can't get there. Fevrier trying to pursue it. And it's out with Ahmed for Norwich. Down the line is Mundell Smith. It's a good work from Greg Doherty. Chased him back, stepped in front, won the ball back for Charlton. It'll be given back to him by Mannion. Doherty sends it forward, asking Dykes to chase it. Gets something on it, Dykes, but it'll drop to McConville. Clears it away before Leeburn can get there. And right with the header on. Ramsey with the touch, but it goes back to right. Inside to McComber. Martin. Norwich trying to just take the sting out of the game as far as Charlton is concerned. And they're just playing possession across the middle momentarily. But that's a good foot in from Sonny Carey. And he's got the ball back for Charlton. Leeburn to his left. Still Sonny Carey. Campbell also left now. Campbell taking on Gibbs. Cuts inside. Still Therese Campbell. Can he get a shot away? Oh, it's blocked by McConville. Out to Doherty. Further right is Fevrier. Still Fevrier. Jinks into the box, but again, 3 or 4 Norwich players converge on him and he couldn't get past them. And Ahmed picks it up for Norwich. To McComber. Foot in from Doherty's won it back again for Charlton. Out to Campbell. Campbell on the outside. Takes the shot. Blocked away. And it should be a Charlton corner. Yes, it is.
Yeah. And some very good interceptions and some bit sloppy play from Norwich. Actually, we haven't seen this match so far. A couple of passes there wide of the mark, which allowed Charlton to make the interceptions. A couple of great opportunities, but that one where Campbell cuts back on his right, I think teams are starting to see it, work it out, and they're blocking up that inside channel, which is why it's got to beat 2 or 3 players every time he drives inside.
Corner for Charlton. Swung in into the 6-yard box, headed away by McConville. Fevrier's got a foot race with Ahmed. Ahmed gets there first. Mundell Smith ahead of him. Inside is right. Right, trying to send Mundell Smith on his way. Doherty manages to get enough on it. Puts it away for a Norwich throw.
Yeah, I think you're going to see quite an open pitch once Norwich defend the shot across, they're going to have a lot of space to break into on the counter.
From the throw, Mundell-Smith into the byline. Bell has to deal with it, with McComber bearing down on him, so he had to put it away for a Norwich corner. 79 gone. Charlton with 11 minutes of normal time remaining to try and get back into this game and maybe even better. Will Nathan Jones roll the dice again on the substitutions front beforehand? We've got to deal with this corner first. Again, Norwich are taking just absolute age. Surely someone in a black shirt has got to nudge him up a bit.
Well, or we get that ball into that quadrant a bit quicker as a home side.
McLean to take this corner. There was a ball right beside his feet and he came all the way to the touchline to pick up the one from the other side. Swung in now, header coming in from McConville, but comfortably high and wide. It'll be a Charlton goal kick.
Well, if that's the case, then he should be booked. But I don't see another ball down there. But you can't walk past the ball to get another ball. That's a booking offence.
Ball forward, Leeburn. Oh, Letts does well to leave his man out of the way, and Dykes trying to get past Cordoba, but too physical a presence. Cordoba, he couldn't manage it, and the assistant had put his flag up for an offside anyway. That can. No, it wasn't. I was just about to say it was from goal kick, but it wasn't, was it? It was an open play. Norwich on the left-hand side. Fisher bringing it forward out to Mundell-Smith. Will take on Charlton defence on the left, gets the cross in. McComber, heavy touch, allows Bell to clear it away. So Charlton, maybe a double change coming. See Rankin, Costello and Kelman getting stripped off. In the meantime, it's the throw into Norwich. Gibbs with it on the right, on the Norwich right-hand side. Thrown into right, goes back to Gibbs. It's another throw with Carey putting the foot in. Now the referee's telling Gibbs to hurry up. Throws it into right again. Getting a slightly heavy touch and puts it out. Should be a goal kick. Oh, he's given a corner.
Yeah, he pushed it off of his legs. Yeah,
I couldn't see from
there. He flicked his right boot on the outside of the ball and hit it into Tyrese Campbell's shins, and out it goes. It's very early to be doing the old into the corner, taking your time, but
again, McLean coming over to take this corner. He's got Gibbs short if he wants to use him. Not using anybody at the minute. Now he steps forward, strikes it into the 6-yard box, but beyond everybody and away for a goal kick.
I'll never understand that. When a team's set up to defend the corner, but they've only sent one out and you've got two over the ball, just go for the short corner. Drag someone out of that centre area. You've got that 2v1 advantage.
No complaining.
No.
Mannion prepares to take this goal kick.
Waste of a set piece.
Drills it down the middle. Leeburn wants to come to it. Cordoba just barges into him. Leeburn ends up on the floor. Cordoba wins the header. Doherty battling with Ahmed on the Charlton right and halfway. It's now Matson. Back to Fisher. Ball forward looking for right. Picked up by Mundell-Smith though, and he's trying to send McComber his way, but there was no way he was getting that. Run through to Mannion. Sending everybody away. Wants to send this long. Does so. This time Dykes the target. Gets something on it and it bounces over McConville. Leeburn trying to get there. Cordoba and Gibbs there helping him out. Gibbs brings it away, but that's a good tackle from Doherty. Now Fevrier on the right. He's got Clark in support. Clark brings it forward. Clark, little ball into the feet of Leeburn, trying to get it round the corner. Carey with a shot, blocked away by McConville. McComber swipes it clear for Norwich. It's a foot race here from Mundell-Smith, and Jones just gets enough of a header on it to guide it back to Mannion.
Yeah. Norwich player down, wants some attention.
It's only cramp, it's fine. Jones up towards Leeburn, flick on to Dykes. Dykes out to, and the referee has called a free kick, and that's only a decision so as they can treat the player on the pitch. Absolutely certain of it.
Just in a replay of that Sonny Carey shot. Again, you know, he didn't do a lot wrong. He's got his foot over the top of the ball. He's guided it towards goal. Norwich with a player willing to put his body in front, commit to the block, and makes that block.
It was McComber that was down. He's got cramp. And the referee stopped play, saying that Lieben had caused a foul, and Lieben's going to get booked because of his protestations here. I'm convinced the referee just did that so as the player on the floor could get treatment.
Yeah, and having seen how this free kick's come about, which I didn't see in real time, it's farcical. Dykes shoved from the back, goes over the player in front because of the contact and the physicality. Nothing he can do, pushed into the Norwich player.
Well, Norwich are going to make some changes now.
Well, it's certainly a masterclass in winding the clock down.
And the fans up.
Yeah.
Field and Forson are coming on.
Double substitution for Norwich City. Coming off the pitch, number 25, Paris Magoma. And coming on, number 18, Forson Amangwa. And also coming off number 7, Pele Matson.
Matson is coming off, as is McComber. Both of the two players that were on the floor, so Norwich don't have to lose anybody for 30 seconds. And Charlton are going to make the changes as well. Coming on, Rankin Costello is coming on. Kane Ramsey will go off. And Charlie Kelman is also coming on. Tyrese Campbell will make way. So Rankin Costello and Kelman on. Campbell and Ramsey off. Cordoba with the free kicks out onto the right hand side, and Gibbs ball forward looking for Mundell Smith, headed away by Jones, picked up by Doherty, finds Carey, sends it forward. McLean though intercepts, it's back out to Gibbs, again sends it down this channel which Mundell Smith will pursue, but goes out of play for a Charlton throw. Amari Bell with it. 2.5 minutes of normal time remaining. Doherty with a flick on. Lieben, can he get there before it goes out of play? Well, he does get a foot in as well, and it needs Cordoba to come across. Good work from Miles Lieben. Cordoba puts the ball out for a Charlton throw. Carey with it. Rankin Costello runs into the corner, but Carey sending everybody into the box. Headed clear though, the throw. And as far as Clark almost shifted it to the wrong foot, so his options ran out because of it. Has to go back to Mannion. Ball forward, headed away by Gibbs. It'll be another Charlton throw. Carey again. Throws it in. Headed clear. Rankin Costello will meet it though. Doherty with the ball into the feet of Dykes, trying to find Lieben. Feet everywhere. Cordoba with the challenge first, and then I think McConville it was who put it away for the corner.
Yeah, a little bit of late pressure. Lots of players in the penalty area, which we were suggesting first half we needed to do. And it just causes a little bit of panic amongst the Norwich defenders.
Carey with the corner, and Charlton left. Swings it in low. lead up in the air. I think Mundell Smith and Rankin Costello trying to get there but can't, and then cleared further away by Cordoba. Bell chasing it back, and he's got to deal with this under pressure. Oh, and that's a foul, must be from Mundell Smith. It is. He drew that, really.
Yeah, it was an awkward one to deal with, because ideally you want to play that back to Mannion, but it just didn't settle, and you don't want to volley it clear because then it might be a throw in Norwich. So that was the best outcome from Murray Bell. Just wait, delay, hope you get the contact, which duly came.
Here and there might be 5 minutes of added time as Mannion sends it forward. With the injuries that have gone down, there's also a little bit of standing. Jones is there as well. Kelman picks it up for Charlton, but Gibbs puts a foot in, sends it away for a Charlton throw. Clark, will he launch this into the penalty area? No, instead throws it short to Bell, so everybody drifts towards the edge of the penalty, and they're sent back in, and then far too much on that. Picked up by Kovacevic, who drops to the floor. But, we had 8 subs and 3 or 4 injury stoppages, so it's not been overly generous. As Wright picks it up for Norwich in the Charlton half, out to Forson. Forson back to Wright. Lifts it into the penalty area. Second header away from Clark. Can Fevrier get there? He can, but he can't go past the combination of Fisher and Ahmed. And it's Ahmed on the ball, inside to Wright. Just turns away from going forward just to keep the ball. Out to Fisher again. Fisher backwards to Cordoba. This ball forward is found right on the left-hand side. Swishes it across to Gibbs. Gibbs on the right. Got Forson further out there. Gibbs just holding the ball up, happy to just keep the ball at his feet. And attempted pull through. Bell cuts it out, but couldn't keep control of it. It's away for a throw-in. And Charlton mount one more attack. Try and get back on level terms. Throw goes in. Mundell Smith. Doherty has to challenge and has to concede the corner.
Yeah, for them it's an exercise, isn't it, of driving this clock towards 95 minutes. Got 3.5 minutes to get through. Charlton have somehow got to get possession back up the other end of the pitch. I think there is an argument that he can book people now.
Corner taken, they're holding it in the corner, but over there is Carey. Doherty's there as well, trying to win it back for Charlton, but it goes back off a red shirt. I think it was Carey, and away for another throw. Gibbs with it, throws it into the feet of Forson. Clark comes over, manages to get a tackle in, but he has to concede another throw. And Gibbs again. Still not taking it. Still the referee allows this to happen. Into the feet of Wright, being pushed over. And the ball is in the corner flag. There's plenty of feet flying in here. Charlton managed to get a throw-in out of it. Can Charlton now build from this point in the final minutes? Throw goes long. Lieben can't get there. McLean does. Now to Forson. On the right-hand side, Forson. Heading towards the penalty area. Lieben gets a foot in, does well, Miles Lieben, and then he's fouled. And he tried to come away with the ball. Charlton have a free kick. Lieben sends it forward. Caught of it over the header away. A heavy touch coming there from McLean. That'll be a Charlton throw. Carey with it. Minute and a half of stoppage time. Clark comes across to take over. He's going to send this into the penalty area. Fizzed in. Headed back out by McConville. I think should be another Charlton throw just by the tunnel area. And again Clark with it. Throw goes in. Jones will jump, gets a flick on. Kelman, far side of the penalty area, turns, lifts it back across, takes a deflection. Sonny Carey with a shot. Another deflection, but it's gone wide.
Yeah, I think it whizzes past Rankin Costello, and he's desperately trying to get a back heel to flick it towards goal, and it just goes through his legs, and he can't make solid contact, and it drifts wide of the far post. But that's the big chance in the dying moments of this game.
30 seconds officially left. Keeper taking an age, as you would expect. Sent forward, Clark will jump. It's a good header there. Leeburn flicks it on. Dykes pursuing it. Dykes trying to get the ball across. Caught over with a block. It's going to be a Charlton corner. Last chance saloon.
Just got to give everyone a chance that piles into that box. Mannion's up. Just beat the first man. But this will be the last attack we have.
Carey with the corner. Sends it in, deep one. Headed clear. Fevrier going back to pursue it, but there is the final whistle. Charlton fall to that single goal in the first half from Martin after 4 minutes. Sending a shot past Will Mannion that he couldn't get to. In the first half, Will Mannion was called on several times to keep Norwich at bay as they were on top in that first half. Charlton much better in the second half. The chances hit the crossbar, shots blocked. Kovacevic called into action a couple of times to thwart Charlton. Some nearly moments, but ultimately Charlton go down to a goal in that first half and no coming back.
Yeah, I mean, that goal seems like an awful long time ago now. 5th minute of the game. It was a wonderful strike. Too much power for Mannion. Again, did we allow Maatsen too much time and too much space when we tried to apply the pressure with the block? Were we brave enough in the block? And it's fine margins. You know, they've huffed and they've puffed Norwich to get a second and couldn't get it. And that always leaves the door ajar for the opponent. And we've had 1 or 2 big moments in that second half to claw that 1-goal deficit back. We've hit the crossbar. There was a wonderful block in the middle of the box. Sonny Carey's there. Costello at the end not making contact. It was hard to make contact. It's not a criticism, but any kind of contact, and that's going into the back of there. But Norwich did have their moments. I thought, I've got to be honest, I thought Mannion was man of the match. I thought he made 2 or 3 brilliant saves today, particularly the one where he had to react and get up and claw the second one away before the Norwich player jumped on top of it to score a second. So it's another defeat at home at home at the Valley. And if I'm honest with you, I think Norwich probably deserved it on chances created. But at least, as you say, Terry, we huffed and puffed second half and created 1 or 2 moments of our own.
Big talking point as well, of course, will be the potential penalty on Lloyd Jones, not given. And if Steve Brown thinks it might have been a penalty, then there's your answer.
I understand fully why any coach and any manager would argue that it was a penalty. 100%. There was 2 hands on Jones's arm, and he rolled the dice and went to ground. It's just how much physicality there was in that challenge. But nevertheless, it is a moment that will be discussed, and certainly our manager will say that deserved a penalty.
Well, it wasn't to be. And sadly, the result went the wrong way for the Addicts in front of 23,000 fans here. Lovely to see. Unfortunately, we couldn't give them the win that would have matched the atmosphere and the sunshine here in southeast London. Not to be. And we go for the international break now, which a much-needed break, I guess. Although quite a few players, including Lyndon Dykes and our 4 Jamaicans, 3 of the Jamaicans, I think, will drift away to international action. And so the next time we're in action, I think it's on is it Good Friday, is it Bristol City? Is it the next one? I'm just trying to guess, but I'm pretty sure it is. So if you can, do join us again. We hope you have a good break, have a good rest, and come back recharged here on Charlton TV to watch the game against Bristol City. So try and enjoy the rest of your weekend if you can, and the weeks that follow, and do join us again next time here on Charlton TV. From all of us here from Steve Brown, thanks again, Steve.
Always a pleasure, Tal.
From Greg and from Lewis back in production, from all of us here, take care. Good afternoon.